And we are back. It is day number 11 here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. This is the U.S. Army Presents Reload Collegiate CSGO Invitational. We've seen some great matches as we've kicked off the playoffs, and now we're in day number 3 of the playoffs. John, it's been fun. Again, for all of those that don't know it, I am Corey Dunn. I'm joined here with Jonathan O, and we are now on, again, at day number 3 of playoffs. John, how's it been as we got into the playoffs so far?
Well, it's been fantastic. We've seen a lot of great matches. Yesterday, we closed out with 2 fantastic matches in the side of UCF. And let me just go back and double-check. The other one was VCU versus Kennesaw. So that was on Dust 2. We haven't seen that map very much, and so we got to see an exciting series between them. VCU was able to take it 16-14, and then UCF went the distance against Kansas State 16-14 on Inferno. And that's the kind of matches we want to see in this playoff series.
Absolutely. I mean, we want to see some really, really good stuff, and we have. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule for today. We've got 3 best-of-3s coming your way. Of course, we're going to separate some things, as I mentioned, every night when we wrap up. We talk about the fact that we're going to go do our best to adjust the schedules to help accommodate for a lot of these teams as they've been playing in this tournament. Miami University of Ohio versus St. Clair. That will begin at 3 p.m. That's 3 p.m. Central, so we'll be covering that matchup. Following after that one at 6 p.m., we've got Kansas State versus UTD. That's going to be a fun one to watch as well. And then we get into it later on tonight. It's going to be uber late. You've got UAH, University of Alabama, and Huntsville versus Pittsburgh. Again, it's going to be really, really, really late of a matchup, even for those that are out there. So Pittsburgh on the East Coast, that is going to be a 11:30 at night start time for a best-of-3. And we'll stay with them every step of the way. Of course, we had a conflict that was happening between UAH and Pittsburgh in terms of time conflicts. And so we talked with both of the teams. Again, these are times that we adjusted for these teams to be able to make everything possible. Again, the goal of this tournament was to broadcast every single match from the collegiate teams. We wanted to give everyone the ability to showcase their talents to all teams that are out there. And even after this tournament is done, John, we're going to go ahead and dissect and upload each match, each best of 3, there on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/esportsstadium. I believe I don't know if we've gotten that channel. I think it is, but it is. Go ahead and do some search on YouTube for Esports Stadium, and you'll see all the content there.
And then even to your point of wanting to showcase every single match, UAH, we talked to that team a little bit. Fish Sauce from that team specifically says he wanted to show people what they're capable of. He wanted to show the world what they can do and the damage they can make. As we see, they have made it to this playoff bracket. They didn't have so much success on the upper side, but this is once again their chance to prove themselves against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so that's just going to be how that one plays out. Let's go and take a look at the upper bracket, and this is what we've seen thus far. Yesterday we saw all the upper bracket round 2s, which means we actually got to see what's going to develop into upper round 3. But there you can see it. Our number 1 seed going against UTD, that was a 16-13 game. Then they won their next one against UConn, and that game was just nutty, seeing how RMU just dominated against UConn. There's only one really crazy round that came from UConn. That was Splix having some really awesome op shots and coming up with a really big clutch. But in the end, UConn being sit down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, in that match, it looked like one team was playing CS and the other one was playing Valorant. The aim difference was just completely different. I mean, it looks like UConn was playing with the CS style, like, they had the aim much more crisp and had the spray control and everything, and then RMU was just playing Valorant in the sense of, easy headshots every single time.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the way that they were playing it was just this complete shock and awe, just going directly at them. And now you look on the flip side, you got VCU. They played against Kennesaw. They won their first one 16-3. VCU then played Kennesaw 16-14. And I think VCU will have a tough matchup against RMU. That will be tomorrow. Of course, all times are subject to change, but of course that is at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Then on the bottom side of the bracket, of this upper bracket, you can see that RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, they've worked their way 16-6, 16-9. And then they'll be playing against UCF, which UCF's role was they played against Miami University, Ohio, which we'll see later today. That was 16-5. Then you saw UCF versus Kansas State. That was a 16-14. That was a lot of fun. That was a good game to watch.
Fantastic.
And then, but of course, Kansas State and Miami University, they both got sent down to the lower bracket. And then we'll see that matchup on Saturday, currently scheduled for 4 p.m. So RIT versus UCF. That's going to be another really fun game to be on the lookout for. This bracket has shaped out perfectly Every step of the way, it's basically we have really good matches. That's one of the things that you want from any bracket, especially an upper bracket. You want to see just great matches. What you don't want to have is a team coming at it that comes from the lower side because they had an easier path, and then just a bunch of difficult teams fighting all the way through. I think this is a really, really good bracket that we've seen. Let's go and take a look at the lower bracket and how this is all playing out. For those, of course, that are just joining us, all of our upper bracket rounds are all best of one. All of these are best of three. That's why you're seeing your 2-1s, your 2-0s coming out there. We've already seen UTD and Michigan Tech University. The Michigan Tech was the very first team to leave the playoff bracket. Then you also have Drexel. They lost to Purdue, and so they've been sent home. So we started off with 28 teams. We've already cut it down in half. We are now down to 14 teams left in this tournament, and sadly today we are strictly focused on this lower bracket. We'll be covering UAH in Pittsburgh, Miami University of Ohio and St. Clair, and then also Kansas State and UTD. And sadly, John, 3 teams are going to be going home today.
Well, it's just the nature of it. Like you said, once you start seeing this lower bracket, you know at any point any of these teams can be exiting at any time. The matchup I'm looking forward to the most today is the rematch of Kansas State versus UTD. Kansas State playing an absolutely fantastic game of Counter-Strike versus UCF. I'd recommend, even if you weren't able to catch that game yesterday, I'd recommend going and watching it. The difference there for UCF, spoiler alerts, is the eco rounds.
Yep.
UCF was just so dominant with those deagles. We know what damage they can do, and if they won one less eco round, we would have seen an overtime. That's how close that game was, and it was honestly just, I would say, one of the best games we've seen this tournament. It was down to the wire every single round.
Yep.
Kansas State using all of their timeouts. It used sometimes their favor, sometimes it didn't. That was just a match that had everything.
Well, that's what we talk about. I mean, we've mentioned it several times. Inferno is a championship map, and that really proved to be why it is what it is. So we'll, of course, I think Kansas State against UTD. Kansas State's, man, they're so strong. They are so strong. I think UTD has just had a very tough play all the way through this tournament. But we mentioned it yesterday when we wrapped up. Kansas State and UTD both come from the exact same group. And so those teams will be fighting their ways all the way through here. But what that really more importantly means is that they've actually played back-to-back days throughout this tournament. There's been no stoppage in their play. They've been playing nonstop since they started in Group H, which, of course, started on May 4th for them. So they've been playing now 3 days. This will be the 3rd day in a row to be playing here.
Actually, is that the third or 4th day?
It'd be the 4th day.
4th, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so it would be the 4th day in a row. But to your point of, I think Kansas State's got to be confident. That game against UCF, they look so good. UTD's been a little bit shaky in their match versus MTU yesterday. It went to overtime. And the last time that these two teams played, UTD got smoked on Nuke. It was 16-7. We were talking about that being a good match. Even we spoke with El Dafo, and he said they just got the better of us today. And they said they got the better of Kansas State previously, but Kansas State throughout this entire tournament, we talk about Penguins just being the guy who does it all, and he still is. He's still the guy who's fragging for the top of his team. But their teamwork just really, they start slow, and then when they ramp up, it starts to seem like they are absolutely one of the top teams in this tournament.
All right, so coming up next, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll really start to dissect our very first matchup of today. Again, it is a best-of-3 with Miami University, the Red Hawks. They're facing off against St. Clair College, the Saints. It's coming up after this. Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports in the U.S. Army working together to make things better. Esports Stadium Arlington, that's where we're at here in Arlington, Texas, as we're about to kick things off with our very first match of the day. It is day 11 or day 3 of the playoffs, whatever viewpoint you want to take at this one. John, I'm just going to go ahead and hop into it. Let's go ahead and get started. Miami University. It looks like this. As you mentioned, there's a lot of these players really want to be able to prove themselves and showing that they're top-notch teams. Of course, we've seen some other ones. Trinity Lord was a lot of fun to watch as well. We saw some ridiculous ace from him here, John.
We sure did, but they had a very tough opponent in themselves on Overpass, and that was UCF. And that's where we saw that ridiculous 4K from Rascal. I could keep talking about that all the time, but I think it's better seen than spoken about as we see some great highlight clips from MUOH in their group phases. We've seen some pretty solid teamwork from them. And I will say their play style is they like to flank and they like to cross their arms with that Penn Esports pose, and that's the one that really gets me excited. But here's their lineup as Glaze, Kybrid, Prospection, Psycho, and Trinity Lord. So as we know, Kybrid is their main IGL on their team. And Glaze, we know that's the guy who likes to flank, and he likes to really maneuver around the map and try to find every little, tries to leave no stone unturned. We saw that getting completely shut down by UCF, but this is a different opponent in St. Clair. We've seen a lot of good stuff from them as well, so I'll be curious to see how Glaze decides to either do what he feels comfortable with in exploring the map, or if he sticks with his team, as we also know that Trinity Lord has got a very strong pistol in his hands.
Yeah, we saw him win a few different rounds, and we see him very effective in the pistol rounds, so that's probably lended itself well for this team to actually be able to win those pistol rounds. But on the flip side, we've got St. Clair College. This team coming in, they've basically kind of come under the radar, but for the most part, these guys are just lethal. I mean, we see the likes of Shurzay, we've got Zapper. They also have their full-blown jerseys as well, but also, Con, who's also had some really good rounds that had come out there. Of course, this is the matchup against Texas A&M. Texas A&M themselves, they had a really good player being Calm, but that was all they really had for them at that point. And so that's your roster, as you can see here in front of you. Con, you've got Cookie, Zapper, Shurzay, and Thrasher.
And they had a tough opponent themselves in Kansas State on Mirage. They went 16-10. They played a really solid game for themselves. I think they were just honestly beaten by Pure Penguins. He just frankly just interrupted their plans, and Knack as well came online with that AWP. I remember watching some of their clips. We were counting the kills with them. Knack, I think, was like 20 and then 5, and then as we were watching the clips, like 21, 22, and 23, all in that one clip. And then so those two players were just so hard to come against, as you mentioned it. They've already had to see that once against Texas A&M and Calm, and that was only one player that they worry about, but two being a bit too much for them, as we'll have to see how they go against the likes of Miami University of Ohio. And you know, Cora, we haven't done predictions in a while, but I think we know enough about both of these teams that we can get a good feeling about what it is and what we're going to see. And going into this best of 3, I think this is going to be a 2-1. I'm not sure which team's going to take it, but if I had to do a gut feeling, I think I would lead towards the side of St. Clair.
All right, so let's go ahead and look at the map pick bans. Maybe this will help you make your better assessment out of this. And so here we have it starting off. St. Clair, they banned Nuke. And then after that, we've got Miami University banning Dust 2, which then left St. Clair to be able to choose. They ended up choosing Overpass.
Exciting.
And then after that, you've got Train that was selected by Miami. Then Vertigo was banned here by St. Clair. And then you've also got, it was a choice between Inferno and Mirage. And then it ends up being Mirage. So Mirage is going to be the last one that's selected here. And we'll get a look at here as well, understand which side they'll be starting off on, looking at these teams.
So as we look into that, Corey, I'm going to just make a few notes here. As we look at
CTs.
Overpass, that was the map that they got absolutely stomped by UCF, is Miami University of Ohio. That was the 16-5. And we've already seen Kansas State. They took out St. Clair on Mirage, but I would say that they played a very solid game on themselves for Mirage. And we have seen Miami University of Ohio on Mirage. We saw Glaze going through mid and just finding every single pick under the sun for himself. We saw him flank through the underpass and then find multiple players not even expecting him. So I think if we get to that decider map, that one is truly the decider map that can swing either way. I'm very curious to see Train coming out here. I just think that might be a map from Miami that they feel comfortable with. I believe we saw that from them in group play, as I'm flipping through my notes desperately trying to find it. If I remember correctly, Glaze was the guy always going B upper. Always. And never with his team. And you and I kind of just thought to ourselves, you know, at some points I feel like he should be grouping up with his team. And so that's kind of that playstyle we talked about. He's comfortable with being that solo representative, that lone hunter, so to speak. And so we'll have to see how it goes against the likes of St. Clair. But Overpass coming out first, that surprises me 0%, as that is the most played map now. As I check it off at 18, it is tied with Mirage.
Yeah, so based off of you kind of mentioned your prediction. I've got my own, so which way do you see this one going? You said 2-1, but now after seeing the map pick bans, which way do you see it? kind of unfolding.
I still want to hold true with St. Clair just because I think their Mirage, what we've seen them on that map, is a little bit more fundamentally sound. They're not necessary. I wouldn't say that Miami. I've been bringing up these flanks a lot just because I feel like that's sometimes they're too prevalent, but I think it also is some points of their game plan. So I think if they're able to stop those flanks, they're able to control the map a little bit better, as we said, the fundamental play, then they should be able to close that one out. But like I said, this could be a 2-1 series. It's just based on how the momentum starts on Mirage. I could see this one swinging either way.
So looking at it for me, even before I saw the map picks, based off of the information that we've got from seeing all the matches that we've seen, I've already put my eggs in the St. Clair College basket. So I'm looking at this one, seeing it as a 2-0. Looking at the map picks, Miami choosing Train. I think I mentioned it last time. I mean, Train is one of those interesting maps that's like sometimes you could be effective, but the reality is that St. Clair College is starting off on the CT side.
Oh,
and I also believe that that's going to be a complete momentum shift. So if you look at it, if everything holds true with St. Clair winning the first map based off of my viewpoint, they're going to carry that over into the next game, which is on Train on the CT side. And then after that, I see a 2-0 that's going to be happening. Now, Train can, of course, be a close game. It could be not a close game. That all depends on who wins what pistol rounds. That's usually what kind of dictates whether it's going to be a long one or a short one based off of the pistol rounds. If we get to Mirage, it is, I think at that point it's completely open to see who's going to be able to win. I think you've got a good viewpoint saying about St. Clair, but I do think that the momentum shifts like, wow, we had a good CT side and we weren't able to actually close it out. So that's something that I think I'll be paying attention to as well. So that's where I see it. I see it as a 2-0 in favor of St. Clair.
And to another point, both of these teams know they have their back against the wall. If they lose,
Absolutely.
they are eliminated. So we're going to see strats that we potentially haven't seen from either of these teams coming out. They know they have to pull out everything now. This is the last stop for them. You don't want to get eliminated now because, well, obviously you don't want to get eliminated, period. But you'd rather try to do some damage more into the tournament. You want to keep yourself alive. You want to play more of these matches because as we heard from some of these teams is they've never played against some of these teams in these brackets. They just want to get that experience, and that's what a lot of them are hungry to find. Getting the opportunity to play against some of these top teams. And so even someone like the likes of MUOH, they're probably happy they got to play against UCF because normally that might be a team that's not even on the radar for them. Sure, they got destroyed. They at least got to understand of, okay, well, this is how they countered us. This is not what worked for us. This is some of the tendencies that we do. And so taking that into Overpass, that could actually help them with some of their adjustments.
I think it is. It's good to play against teams like UCF. There's no question. I just think that you've gotten one best of one to be able to play against that. I don't think there's enough of them. I think you start to see a good trend whenever you start to play against a team multiple times, right? So if that was the only time that they've ever played against UCF, I think it's like, okay, cool. And then you may overanalyze, you may break things down too much, or you may get demoralized because you're just getting stomped on. Like, there's so many different factors. It's the game 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 that really start to change how a team plays their game. Of course, going to be adjusting here for one of the players. Sadly enough, this is the online nature of how things work. We've got one of the players there. Their Steam actually has been compromised, so we'll actually continue to work with that as well. He's actually creating a whole new account right now too, so which is actually not as hard as it sounds, right? So getting the game into play.
Thankfully, Counter-Strike is free to play now.
Exactly. So we'll get them getting into the server as well. So we'll stay with that. But kind of looking at these series, I mean, there's only one factor that I can never be able to anticipate, right? Whenever they're in a venue like this, whenever I used to do a lot of commentary for a live event, I could immediately go up and say, hey, what's up to somebody, and immediately realize that person is checked in already, right? Here, I don't know. I don't know if players have been playing Valorant until 8 a.m. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because that's actually some of the information that I'd seen. I don't know if some of the players are, how are they? What is their mentality before getting into this game? Those are the questions that are really going to be coming into play. And that's what we have to be on the lookout for, because that's just the online nature of it, right? You don't know if there's if a girlfriend is basically saying, hey, come hang out with me. Well, I'm playing in a tournament right now. Or you've got somebody that's got this full-blown studio apartment that has like the perfect gaming setup, and they're the only ones there. They're just rocking out. They've been able to get their mental focus before. There's so many different stipulations that can come into play when you start to talk about online.
And even that, they could even be more comfortable with where they're at. As
Exactly.
some people, they crumble under the pressure. You see all the chairs behind us. This could have been some of the seating that we had here at the stadium. And so some people playing at home, as we even asked, we asked A-Track, and he said he wasn't even wearing shoes.
Right.
So that's one of those things. They just feel comfortable. They are in their home. And that there's no more comfortable. That's what we see when we tell players when they're on the stage for some of the first time is just get to as if you're playing from home. Get to your comfortable zone. Whatever you do at home, do exactly on the stage. If you scoot your chair in all the way, scoot your chair in all the way. As now we are going to take an overview on Overpass. This will be the first map of this best of 3 lower bracket series. MUOH versus St. Clair, with St. Clair starting out on the
CT side.
CT
Sorry. St. Clair. You started with St. Clair. So yes, St. Clair's on the T side, and Miami University, Ohio, they selected the CT side. That was on me.
I thought I was looking at it right, but that's all right, Corey. We've got our players into the server now, and I think this pistol round will be a telling story to start off. As I think, obviously, going into the series, you want that momentum in your favor, and as what we know of both of these teams, they are able to fully ride with that momentum. So I think this is absolutely a great start for this tournament, as we see Glaze is already pushing far forward, and the first bullet of the tournament is the very first kill on the board. Glaze able to find it onto Scherze. That's going to feel pretty good, but they're still continuing. They're rushing into that A bomb site, not even going into the restrooms. They said, you know what, we went before the tournament, we got it. We don't have to do it now. They've already found themselves on the site. They're finding themselves with a free bomb site. There is one player flanking, and who else, Corey, but Glaze? That's the guy we've been talking about, and he loves doing that. Is now a 4v5 retake. There is one kid in the hands of Prospection, and there goes the flank, but there is another one to follow. He's already checking out. Cookie says, you know what, it's time for you to check out, as that is a quick 4-person surviving on the side of St. Clair, and the bomb got planted. That could almost not go any better for the side of St. Clair, and they are extremely happy with that result.
Yeah, one of the things that you had mentioned was talking about we're going to learn a lot about these players in the pistol round. It's not necessarily just about who wins the round. It's more importantly about how well were they shooting in the round, right? So Glaze with the initial, you saw him lining up his shot, and he just mouse one, had a really, really awesome shot. But for St. Clair, all of their players entered in the bomb site. They were not wavered by that initial kill, and they should have been. And Glaze getting spammed through the wood there from the AK. This is nice little smoke, and Glaze is trying to stop it, but it ends up not making a difference there. Con, who's going to get at the initial one here with the MAC-10, and his teammate's going to be going to pick up that scout. That is Prospection. He causes a little bit of damage, tries to finish the job. He does. Almost gets his a second one here, as now it's going to be down to a 3-on-3, as Kybrid has found another one. And there goes the rotation. You can see they're already heading here towards the B bomb site. The bomb carrier decides to take a little bit longer of a route. That's Thrasher. They're going to be met here with 2 different players. Actually, I think right now we actually have Psycho, who's still inside of A, and Glaze is actually retreated as well. They're going to give up this B bomb site. I think if I remember correctly, Miami University did a retake strat one time. And so we'll see what they're able to do here. And this Deagle is going to be lethal, yes. As there you have it, Glaze picking it up there. We call it the Deagle Glaze instead of that Deagle Blaze. And he misses the shot there. So this round is looking pretty good for Miami University, even though the bomb is planted and they've lost a lot of teammates. But they've done a good job of being able to try to gain control, as Kybrid has full health, full armor, and now he's out. Now it's down to a 1-on-1, and Psycho is also going to fall, and just like that, 2-0 in favor of St. Clair, but they caused a lot of damage there, John.
They absolutely did, and that's the name of this tournament, is Deagles do damage. We've seen it time and time over, those eco rounds being the difference, and as you said, sure they didn't win it, but St. Clair did not get the bomb down, and they got it down to one person. It was Thrasher who had to finish it off with a 3K, and it seems like Zapper a little bit slow to start here, so we'll have to keep an eye on that player.
Glaze, you're on fire.
Glaze is burning alive. Continuously pushing forward. Now they're going to know he's at a pretty forward position there. Grenade's not going to find him. Oh, actually it does 2 damage to him as I say that, but now we're seeing some weaponry in their hands. They've got only 3 SMGs to work with, 2 Deagles in those players that don't have SMGs. As well as we see the AKs on the side of St. Clair. Nice try there from Psycho. Wasn't able to find anything, but he was able to do some pretty solid damage. You see Scherze's down to 6 HP.
Oh, wait a minute. That's, who is that?
Zapper.
Oh, no. We'll take that. We'll take note. This is definitely going to end in a pause. And I bet you it's probably something related to some custom skins or something like that.
Oh, I hope not. We've already seen those issues coming through, but Glaze has found himself an angle. Cookie's going to try and push out, but that's a nice flashbang, perfectly placed there from Thrasher. Able to get Cookie right on it through mid. And now they're pushing through. Shirzay's going to hear one towards barrels. He's going to check it, and he's going to find it. But Trinity Lord's able to take out one, and Prospection's able to find one for himself. They're doing a lot of damage to these players on the side. If Trinity Lord would have found that player, that would have been Cookie falling down. They're getting the bomb now. They've got 30 seconds to work with. Unfortunately, in the situation, it's a 2v2. Scoreboard says 3v2, but we know Zapper's not there.
Miami doesn't know that, though, so just remember that.
That is true. That is true. As Concon's able to find Prospection, now it's a quote-unquote 3v1 with Trinity Lord. We saw he's absolutely capable of having this comeback.
Absolutely.
We've seen it with the USP. Oh, and there's Zapper. Hey, he's joined us back.
I told you.
Hey, that's actually really important that he came back now because he can go find himself an AK. That's actually huge that he's able to make it back into this round, and that's a nice shot there from Cook. He's able to find one. He gets an MP9, and I'm sure Zapper's like, guys, where's the gun? Where's the gun? And he's able to find it. So unfortunate he wasn't able to join his team for the rest of the round, but still fortunate that he was able to find a gun in all of the midst.
I would love to know what happened there. So that was round number 3. I'm going to make a note here. And we might do an interview with St. Clair and ask what happened in round number 3. It may be a long time from now. We may be deep into our other best of 3s. Other actions, other events may happen. But I'm curious about that because, but again, if you're at Miami University, you don't know where those players are. And so at that point, it actually can create a different conflict where you're just like, oh my goodness, Kybrid, you're on fire. You've been on fire. It must have been completely blinded as he tried to stay alive in the corner. And Cookie's going to get himself one as well. Oh, there's some cover there by Zapper. Zapper's has a little bit of a challenge here. He's got Glaze here with you. Let's see if he can. They're both inside of connector right now. And Glaze tried to be able to pick himself up an AK. And now Prospection with this Deagle. As we'll see how this one plays out, and then I'll give you the rest of my story.
Well, it seems like it's going to play out in favor of that of St. Clair, but Prospection's able to find himself one. Now he's left to do it all. He's actually doing some damage with that spray. Not sure if he's going to go for this one. The money's not looking great for their side. If you're him, yeah, he actually even picked up a Molotov, so that's an extra $600 in his pocket with that. I'm sure he'll be happy to walk away with an AK and that piece of utility, and that's exactly what he's going to do. That's going to be round number 4 on the board of St. Clair. And Corey, we talked about this. We talked about the momentum of this team. We've talked about even this map being CT-sided. St. Clair have come out swinging. Sure, they won the pistol, and they haven't gone against a complete gun round of that of Miami University of Ohio, but I will say they're looking crisp already. Their team play, their hits, they haven't taken too long to get onto bomb sites. Everything's looking so far to be very much in their favor.
Yeah, you'd want to see something like that coming out from St. Clair. This is what we were talking about earlier, is the only thing that we cannot judge is how prepared a team is, and more importantly, how warmed up is a team whenever they get into a matchup. And you can see St. Clair College, they definitely did their death matching. They did their aim maps, what have you, and getting prepared here for this game because they're making some really good shots. Not saying that Miami has not. And there's a great shot by Trinity Lord just over the top. And he does get, he catches a few bullets in the backside. But he does get away. So the damage has been done. Concon, who's 6-3 in this game, has been taken out for the round.
And that was an AWP in his hands of Concon. So that is a battle won from Trinity Lord that they are ecstatic about. As now that slowed their roll just a bit. We've seen St. Clair play a little bit fast, but now they're trying to reassess the situation. How do we want to make this work? And ooh, okay, I was about to say, if Shirzay fired a half second sooner, he might have been able to pick him up through the wall there. As we now see this boost. It looks like he's not actually getting boosted. He's just holding an angle. And well done there from Trinity Lord. Zapper's getting a little aggressive there. Didn't necessarily need to, as he's going to go back for that angle. And
we've seen this crossfire.
We've seen it many times, in fact, and I think we saw one player who did it well with Sticks with his teammates. That was a different game, as Cookie's going to find one through the fire, and now Thrasher's found an opening. There's one player he's going to be able to click the heads. Cookie, he finds the chocolate chip on top of Glaze's head, and he shoots it right off, as there is 2 people left here. It's Prospection and Trinity Lord. They've got a kit, and Prospection's starting to warm up on that AWP. Corey, we've talked about it. Saving guns is good, but winning rounds is better. And it seems like that's what MUOH wants to do here. As Shirzay's able to find Trinity Lord, and that's probably all she wrote as I say that, as they now know where Prospection's at.
Yeah, he wants to be able to get this AWP, and he just tosses out his smoke. They know that he's not going to come after it, so they are immediately chasing after him. That is actually going to be Thrasher, and Thrasher's been playing really lights out as well, so we'll see if he ends up finding him here. And there's the footsteps. Going to be hiding behind the corner. And there goes Thrasher. But the bomb will explode. Another round coming in here for St. Clair. And but Trinity Lord trying to help out his team. But if you look at the overall scoreboard, I mean, Cookie, Thrasher, and Con playing really well. Scherzay's had some really good shots as well. But on the flip side, you've only seen a few people from we only see, like, Glazes has only 2 kills in this game. And so we'll see how this one plays out. We're early in the game, but it is a 5-0 scoreline. And so we'll see. Trinity Lord looks like we do have a forced bye coming out here for Miami.
That we do, and I would say if they want to stop the bleeding sooner than later for their CT half, they have to win this round, absolutely. I'm curious as to know why St. Clair didn't pick up that AWP. They knew where it was at. They knew where both of them were at, from Con and then from Trinity Lord. They decided not to and just rock it with these AKs, perhaps maybe not expecting a bye to come out. Maybe didn't want to lose it and then give it onto the hands of Miami, but we'll have to see.
That's actually another valid point right there. You don't want to give up the AWP back to a team where you just got dropped quickly with the AWP from Trinity Lord. And Hybrid under some gunfire there with Zapper. And finally, there's a trade that happens as Glaze is up top. He's got 2 with the FAMAS. But it is a 3-on-3. Lots of time here in the round, but the bomb is dropped over there on the CT side of Monster. And here it comes, yeah. They're joining right into the action.
Getting very aggressive on towards the site. They still don't have the bomb, as you mentioned. They've got 45 seconds to work with. They did not expect those players to be there. Scherzay getting a little bit too aggressive walking his way forward, but here we go. We see Con.
Yeah, we need to go back to Con.
Way behind enemy lines here. He's going to find one. He's going to shoot pretty early. Now they know they're in an interesting predicament. They've got one player coming out of Monster, and that's Cookie. He's going to get the bomb. Concon's going to flash his way in, and that was a perfect flash. Prospection is blind as a bat. Doesn't trust in it, though. He finds the position. That's the important part. And, Prospection pulls his own grenade out. Doesn't able to find anything as Cookie's just making his way onto the site. He's not able to support, and Glaze is just there for the crossfire. He's able to find one as Con. Oh, he can do this. He's dropping down, and Prospection can't even have a shot.
So close.
They both go down to the pistols.
So close.
Holy cow. What was a must-win round on the side of Miami comes down to the difference of 18 HP. But regardless, they're able to walk away with that one, and they are happy to see that one in their hands. But what they're not happy to see in their hands is their lack of money. As they fully invested, they're able to walk away with 1 AK. They've got rifles in their hands, but we see the MP9. They're going to be going against AKs once again from the side of St. Clair. If they're able to get through it, then they'll force the reset, but they have to make it through this round number 7.
Yeah, they're happy, though. Getting around, they're down 5-0. It doesn't matter where their economy falls. They want this round. And so now, of course, they're almost at max round bonus as well based off the new economy system, so they're doing fine there, too. And so we can see Con's about to be challenged here inside of mid by Trinity Lord. Trinity Lord playing some close quarters here.
Oh, great shots there from Scherzay. We saw him get a little bit too aggressive last time. This time, he's just bunkering down, and he just wants to spray and find some players, and that's exactly what he does. We're finding ourselves quickly in a 4v1. Not sure what Psycho was running towards there. I think they called for a rotation onto the ace site. Maybe Prospection heard something up there, and he wanted some support, but just turned his back and got shot in the back of the head. Thrasher says good night. And that should be it for the round. It is round number 6 going in favor of St. Clair. But, well, Prospection's found one in Cookie. Cookie getting himself a little bit too far forward and wasn't prepared for that fight. Prospection seems like the guy who was always surviving these rounds. I guess he's the lone representative on that A bomb site, and they haven't quite taken it there yet. They've had so much success on B, and so why not? As we see Con here is trying to make this jump, and he's got some time to work with. He's making some noise. He's not too necessarily worried about it. He's going to try again. Actually, let's just stick with him. Let's see how many times he's going to go for it. So that's 3 in a row. Hey, there we go, Con. That's right. Nobody misses a jump 5 times in a row. That's right, Con. And he decides just to jump down.
For what we had seen.
Yeah, that is true. Seems like they've got an idea of where Prospection might be at. And, oh, he shoots at him, and now he instantly knows where he's at. He's hearing the running. Oh, they actually even force out a bit of utility there. And here's how it's opened up for Scherzay. He just pokes out. He's able to find one. That's nice control. And, oof. Quick kill onto Kyber, just finding the headpiece there, and that's going to close out that round.
Yeah, that was a good moment there for them. So
6-1 in favor of St. Clair, and as we mentioned it, Corey, the money wasn't looking great for the side of Miami. Sure, they got the round on themselves, but they had to get a second if they wanted to get through that money of St. Clair. And once again, finding themselves on an eco versus these AKs. This time they stacked the B side because, hey, St. Clair's done it every time. but not this time.
All right. See him heading here. You got a lot of players all heading towards long A right now. And they're not being challenged at this point. Of course, you're on the save here coming in. And now we see Prospection, who's got the AK. He could be lethal here, but he actually pulls away. He gives up the bomb site. And more importantly, I think he's regrouping with his teammates. He doesn't want to necessarily lose the AK. And there you have it. Psycho already out of the round. They are getting picked apart now. And Kyberd forgets where his mouse is at.
I will say, I like the idea from Prospection. He hurt so many of them. I mean, it's an eco, so maybe in some
but
sense.
Right there, you don't do that.
Yeah, I was.
Look at watch the overview. Let's
Holy cow! Look at they're running.
Let's pop the overview real fast, so you can see this. Oh man, yeah. Look, they're all chasing after them. You see how fast they chased after them? They all just dispersed from the A bomb site and just started going on this manhunt. And they're all going to do this. So as we can go ahead and see here, Prospection is going to hear him coming up this ladder, but now they all know. And this actually can work out in favor of Prospection. They do not need to come over the top. Actually, there it is. And can get it. Oh man, yeah. That's at that point. St. Clair should just make the assessment. This is not worth it. We're going to continue to lose weapons. We don't actually have a ton of money. We've got good money, but we don't have tons of money. But they do have the lead. They do have a huge lead, being on a T side on overpass.
And something we saw yesterday was RMU. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to excel their dominance. They're trying to put their foot forward and say, we are just better than you. We're going to run you over.
I don't think that's the case at the end. I mean, they were really wanting that AK because that's what you do. That's in CS 101 is you try to take away the weapon from the CTs because it's expensive. But from another viewpoint on it, kind of going back to what you're stating, is St. Clair's playing strong. They're effective. They're hitting pretty well, but they're not necessarily at RMU's level where they're basically saying, we are dominant, we are better than you, and just rolling over them. Because by now we'd have already seen them push directly into Monster. They would have went right through that smoke. We're seeing a good St. Clair.
This round would have already been over.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. 4 on 4 right now. Glaze has been impacted pretty greatly. He is down to low health, and he is going to be taken out here.
Hey, he did some damage to Shirzay first, though. Was able to do 88 damage. That one misses onto barrels, and they're just going to hope that no one's at that position as Psycho's able to find himself one. There's only one viewpoint to even watch for as the bomb's going down. It's a 3v2 retake now as Trinity Lord's taking down Con. They all have kits to work with. And they've got the numbers finally one time in their favor. That was a great flashbang, slowing down 2 of the players here and just trying to buy it as much time as they can. We see one player in Prospection going for a flank. You got to speed up just a little bit, and now not expecting it is going to be Thrasher, and that's going to be number 2 on the board. Nice flank just in time there for Prospection. 2 players still alive. They're able to pick up some guns for themselves. That's 2 on the board. 7-9 now still in favor of St. Clair on their T side. They are looking strong, and they are going to have, again, another gun round.
You can look at 2,200 there for Cookie, but he'll be dropped an AK from a teammate. We'll see him buy some utility and armor. Rest of his team are still pretty. You've got Con who's got 3,400, so he's doing pretty well for himself as well.
Yeah, Thrasher had, I think, 9,600 before he invested. And here we go. Trinity Lord found a pick last time. Lightning doesn't strike twice, unfortunately, as Prospection eats a grenade on their way out. And the saying I like that you said is, "Oh, that's what shrapnel tastes like." that's or feels like. That's a good
either
one.
Either one's good.
Either could be true. I just like that one. That was a good one. So as we see here, making their way slowly. They're actually spreading out this time, trying to go for a little bit more of a default setup, just sitting 2 players towards B, seeing what they can find. Shirzay so far forward. We know he's comfortable in this position. He's not checking the right angle and gets way too far out there.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with that. I mean, there's no trade action. There's no support there. I know what he's doing. He's trying to be a complete shock and awe, but it just didn't happen. I mean, the timing of how that round could have played out, there's very, very high risk. There is high reward, of course, but it's pretty high risk.
Well, and they haven't checked for this player in Prospection as he's able to find one. Actually getting flashed by his teammate there from Trinity Lord, but that's going to cause a 4v3. Now we see the players rotating off a B, but there's Thrasher to find the pick, and that leaves an open B bomb site. We actually see the bomb now coming through connector, and they're going to get there in time. It's Kybrid. We see another player rotating over. It's Glaze, and he's going to have to be the last guy to get there to the site. The bomb has now found its way there. It is being planted now by Con. It is a 3v2. These players have kits, and they've got an AWP in the hands of Trinity Lord. They can do some damage, but they've got to find their way in first.
Yeah, that smoke is going to deter Trinity Lord for a little bit, but luckily enough, it dissipates right before he even has a chance to run away. So he's going to go ahead and continue to play this angle. Now he's got too many angles to worry about, and he's probably going to end up saving this weapon in a 3-on-1. That's just the right call. Oh yeah, he decides to duck too. And so he'll go ahead and save this AWP. I'm trying to look and see if there is one. That is Thrasher. Thrasher likes to go searching for players. That's why his money's not as great as some of his other teammates throughout this game. But he's then going to end up selecting to go towards bathroom side. And another round coming in here for St. Clair, and I don't see any other action happening here, as it's 8-2 now in favor of St. Clair.
Well, that said, if there's a guy you want hunting down people, it's Thrasher right now. He's 11-4. He's having a great game for himself. His name is Chris. But with that said, everyone on the side of St. Clair has had their own standout rounds. Everyone's looked pretty stellar. As once again, the AK's all in their hands. They decided, you know what, we don't want to work with the AWP. We're feeling these AKs. We're doing the damage we need to. Let's keep up the tempo. I think when they get that AWP in their hands, they try to slow it down a little bit, try to find the slow picks, the individual, someone just poking out a little bit too far, but now they want these AKs. They just want to barge in. They want to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And it is exactly working for them. 8-2 in their favor.
Yeah, that early call getting off of the AWP, and Trinity Lord basically made it for him. So I think that is absolutely the right call. Now on the CT side, that can absolutely shift. That's not a problem. But what they're doing here on the T side, they are working extremely well as a team.
Scherze's, once again, the guy who likes to make some noise onto that B bomb site. He's finding himself by himself this time, as the bomb has rotated over. So we've seen this smoke many times out of him. Seems like this is his standard, as there's actually 2 players on that A bomb site. Prospection's found himself very far forward. We'll see if they check from this time. He's going to make some noise on the B site. He's actually not going to be able to find one. If he finds that one, that's going to cause a lot of interaction. But now we see they have called this out. They have started to rotate on over, as that is the bomb being spotted. That is Trinity Lord with the AWP, and he gets taken out quickly. Zapper zaps him out of this round. And Kybert's able to find his way on the side. He's got 12 HP, and he's not able to find the shots, but he's able to connect one before he's taken down by Cookie.
Uh-oh. Look out for Glaze on this flank here. This could be all she wrote. You can hear him trying to be able to pick up the bomb. He's going to run right back to it. Good, smart play there. He got rid of the AWP to take that, so Trinity Lord will have to buy that. He knows that there's only 10 seconds. He knows that this is his demise right here, and that's going to do it. He was low on health. He had to get the bomb planted. It just none of his cards were in the right place, and so 8-3 now is the score.
Now we see some of these players. Scherze's on $1,400, so we've already seen 2 players invest, and that's Thrasher and Zapper, so I assume Cookie's going to follow suit. He's going to invest everything he can, so only a deagle in the hands of Scherze, as this is a round where St. Clair might have their money broken. Trinity Lord's going to find a pick, or is going to look for a pick once again, and this time they're just hugging the wall. They want nothing to do with it. They are barging right in as Prospection finds Cookie, and Trinity Lord's able to watch his back. Scherze's going to get a pick, and that's Thrasher. Who else? Coming out from Connector and evening up the odds.
Look out for Glaze, though. He's already over here, and I think he may have already spotted the bomb as well.
Oh, golly, that interaction of just passing each other. Zapper, Glaze turning the corner just the wrong way. He's going to see Scherze, and now Zapper's going to know where he's at, but he's the last man standing. Now they're just doing the tango. Who's going to find the angle first? And it's going to be Zapper barely coming out on top of that interaction. He's got 19 life to work with, but it is a 1v2. If he's able to get to one of these sites and find one of these picks, they are separated, and he's got the time to work with. 60 seconds in Counter-Strike is like a whole year.
It is. It's a long time. But when you're holding shift, it sometimes feels like the clock is just going really, really fast. But this is the right call. Shift walking his way here towards the A-bomb site, but now he's going to be in, oh man, he just slightly slides by.
He just found the perfect angle. Trinity Lord is not watching the right spot. He's even going to see Trinity Lord here.
He might see a shadow there. Yes, he does. And there it is. Nice job. And now the player that's going to be Psycho is going to be rotating from the B-bomb site, going to be heading here through the CT side. Now he planted the bomb for himself. For the CT spawn area.
Oh, he's going to poke out here. I'm not sure if I agree with this. He's got 19 health. I would just try to find an angle.
I think he has to challenge. I think he has to. That there's no way for him. Right here is the right angle for him to be able to play. And then now he's going to see him come back up there. Oh, and he spots his feet, and he does. Great job by Zapper, peeking out at the right time, winning that 1-on-2, leveraging all minute and 5 seconds that was allotted to him. and being able to pick up the round. St. Clair now 9-3.
Perfectly played there, and that's sometimes we've talked about that, Corey. Sometimes you just stack 2 players and give up the other bomb site, so that way you can work together.
Yep.
And Trinity Lord was just not watching the right angle at the wrong time. And actually, we see AWP in the hands of Cookie, so they were able to pick that up at the end of the round, and Cookie wants it in his hands. Now we see Glaze on one of his own as Trinity Lord's been taken out through the smoke.
Through the smoke, yeah, nice.
As this is a force buy coming out for their sides. They saw Deagles, AWP. We see a UMP taken out now, and Psycho's the last one with the rifle, and there he goes. Thrasher is going to close out that round, and boy, that is a not – their money is just not great on the side of Miami.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about back on that 1v2. There's different times for different scenarios where you'd actually have one of your players, like you split up those 1v1s and create those 1v1s if you feel like you're a better shot. But because you'd start to be concerned, right? So like a UCF teaming up together, it's going to be tough because that player can actually be able to transfer super fast. But with the conflicts that we're seeing in this game, they're lasting a while, right? We're talking, maybe a little more than a half a second, probably upwards to a second is how long some of these conflicts are happening. We're not seeing direct headshots coming in. So having team shooting involved, that second is more than enough time to be able to win together. We're not seeing those ridiculous transfers here. But look at this, the A bomb site completely clear, and they continue to go ahead and instead of getting the bomb planted already, they go ahead and get their players kind of a little bit further advanced. And we'll see 3-2 split coming in on this retake with these Deagles. John, how's it going to play out?
Miami just has to be kicking themselves for like, man, we have stacked the wrong bomb site twice now. Scherze's able to find himself at 3K against this Eco. Concon finding himself in the perfect position to find Glaze in the last one, but who else is Prospection? We've seen him alone so many times now. We've seen him be hunted. We've seen him hold on to weapons. We've seen it all. And this time it seems like he's just going to try and do some damage where he can. He's going to find Thrasher and nothing. Trades over that 5-7, and that's going to be 11 on the board here for St. Clair. And as I was saying, Miami has every time they've tried to stack, they've stacked the B bomb site, and it's just unfortunate that it hasn't worked out for them. I bet they're thinking to us, man, I wish we could win one of these coin flips.
Yeah, it's much harder to stack the A bomb site. More importantly, you're probably just stacking bathrooms, and they did that one round. They did try to be able to stack inside of the bathrooms to see what they could be able to work out, and it just didn't work out in their favor. But this round, we see an aggressive push, as they actually had 3 players. Glaze actually took the connector round, and then Prospection and Trinity Lord. We've seen that combo this entire game too, but this time Prospection gets the initial frag. And now we've got Scherze still trying to do this again, see if this is that high-risk, high-reward scenario again. And he ends up losing the gunfight anyway. And there's a full-on, oh, man. It looked like that AK almost got away from him. But Thrasher does end up being able to pick up the kill. It is down to a 3-on-4. You're seeing a heavy rotate. Now, there's going to be an action that's going to happen here in a second that's just a weird conflict. And there it is, Prospection getting Con-Con. And Glaze, oh my gosh, Glaze just sprays for a while, and he almost tries to be able to pick up the no-scope, and that's how the first half is going to end 11-4, but ooh, a lot of damage has been done in that game, and St. Clair is looking pretty.
Prospection's able to do well for his team in that half, 14-8, but as we see on the other side, we see 15-7, 14-11. St. Clair, it seems like everyone has showed up to play. We're on the flip side of Miami. We see 2 players struggling so far, and that's Hybrid and Psycho.
So on the note of the Prospection, I'm not going to take away the fact that I think he's playing at about the same level as the rest of his team. The difference is he was a lot of times he's the last one alive. We saw one situation where they were rushing after him. That gave him basically 2 free kills. So he is at the same level as the rest of his team.
He's had a few gimmies.
He has had a few gimmies, exactly.
Now Thrasher's actually going to get aggressive, and he's going to find Hybrid here. And
oh my goodness!
Oh, not the cleanest of gunfights there, but the extra bullets in the Glock made the difference there as Hybrid takes out Thrasher, and they see that and like, whoa, if that's one player down at B, let's go ahead and go to that site. Hybrid's now falling back, and Scherze is actually like, you know what? If there's a player over there, I'm going to go find him. And now he's going to see that they've come out through connector. They still have one player on site, and that's Concon. He's going to have to find these shots, and Prospection's going to remove him quickly. This is looking to be the pistol round in favor here of Miami, and this is exactly the way they needed to start this half. Cookie is making his way through heaven. Zapper's got a player to his right, and he's going to get poked out here shortly, and just not soon enough as Glaze falls down and turns this into a 1v3.
Yeah, Cookie was that player, though, in the first pistol round.
Well, they're giving him nothing to work with here. Absolutely nothing. This, I mean, perfectly played. Cookie's he's got to get his way on site. He's got so many angles to check, and he's not even able to check all of them. If he finds that quick kill on the cycle, that could be something, but
had to be quick.
Yeah, it had to be basically instant to check his back, and it wasn't. So that's going to grant number 5 on the board for Miami. They still have got a mighty, mighty climb for themselves, but if St. Clair is able to do it, Miami can easily return the favor, as we see an eco coming out from the side of St. Clair.
Yeah, that's what you'd expect, or at least what you'd want. Whenever you got a big lead, just go ahead and give up the next 2. You don't have anything that's mission critical that you need to win rounds right now. You don't need to gamble at any point. So what we should be seeing from St. Clair, unless they pick up unless they pick up the AK here, I don't see them even going really much into the next round. Although they do have the round bonus, they're at 2,000, so we'll see what they end up doing for the 3rd round. I mean, they should have a good amount, but if they're trying to wait for Con to get an AWP and having a kit, having armor as well, they might make an adjustment there. But right now, as Thrasher's got him 2 kills in this round right now.
Might even get himself a MAC-10, and he will, and he's
Oh,
actually going to go behind them.
Yes,
he's going to hear it all at least.
Yeah, and Con can be this distraction here for a moment. He can be the initial trigger. As there's a MAC-10, that's Trinity Lord right around the corner, and that smoke actually works out in his favor because that backtracks both of these players. He does not need to challenge here, and he does. Oh man, if he did not challenge that, I had this inkling that he was not going to win that next gunfight. If he would have pulled back and forced him to be able to come back into his crosshair, instead of forcing him to be able to, instead of challenging it, I think St. Clair could have actually had that round. I mean, that was a good case scenario. Bad smoke by taking over the sandbag because that's where your teammate was located at. But that's kind of a gut reaction. But 11-6, 2 rounds in a row. And now you can look at it. They decide not to go with the AWP, and they go all M4s.
And if he had pulled out the MAC-10 there, he could have found 2 players. It perhaps didn't have enough bullets in it, and he checked, and he didn't want to reload to make the sound. But now Cookie's going to poke out. He's going to find one. Ooh, that was a risky poke, and he's going to do it again. He's going to throw a flashbang. That actually bounces off that umbrella. If you see the trajectory up there, that's unfortunate. And he's going to fall back based on that. He's going to get blinded, and he's just able to get himself out of there. But he's going to re-peek again. Man, he is playing with a lot of confidence, this Cookie. He's able to find Psycho, and all of a sudden, this investment into this round has absolutely paid off so far. It's a 2v5 with him taking pretty minimal damage. And, you know, Miami might not have seen this coming. To your point, you called it out. As if we see on the side of St. Clair, maybe they should save twice. They want to get the full sets for themselves, the AWP, all the utility. And maybe that's what Miami was thinking. So they're trying to go A-long. And Cookie, again, finds a 3rd in this round, closing it out quickly. And this might be the 12th on the board, and that might be a reset for the side of Miami.
Absolutely. You only see one player right now, and this is the player that we're on board with. He's got 31-50. You can see him. He's going to be at 45-50 going into this next round.
Not even able to win that gunfight. So 4 rifles being saved at the end of that round from St. Clair. That is exactly why they bought this weaponry. They wanted that exact result, and they are able to stop the bleeding after the pistol round and get it 12 on the board as we head into round number 19. We see 2 AKs and 3 Deagles. They've bought everything that they could, and we'll have to see if it makes the difference as they're trying to make it quickly to this B bomb site. They're going sandbags. Shirzay's going to find the first one. He's going to find the second one, but he's not able to get it to pick up as Trinity Lord is able to take him down. Now they're just trying to, actually no, they're just going on quick. They don't want to slow it down as Thrasher's able to find one, but gets traded back. It's a 3v2, and they still have the rifles in their hands. This is doable, but Trinity Lord's poking out. Should have played with his teammate there as Glaze, and Glaze is found
no, gravity.
Oh, is that what happened? He gravity?
Yep, it gets the best of you sometimes.
Oh, it absolutely does.
SV_gravity million. As St. Clair picking up this round, but Miami is going to like what happened there.
They are, but they're not going to like what their bank accounts look like. If they would have gotten the bomb down, they could have had a little bit more to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like you said, yes, they did the damage where they needed to. I still think we're going to see. Oh, okay. I thought Cookie was going to buy a weapon for his teammate, but Con says, hey, I think they're on an eco. Let me get some money in my pockets as he gets the automatic shotgun for himself. I think he's probably going to go towards connector with that.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's Shirzay. Dang it. That could have been a firing range. But, yeah, that grenade did a whole lot of damage, and so is that M4. He's run out of bullets, but who cares? He finds 4. That's against an eco, but that's still great control from him. As Concon's like, hey, wait a second. I bought this gun to get money.
That's what I was
need
supposed
it.
to be
Yeah,
doing.
I need some too. As Cookie's trying to take the pick there and with the pistol. And there it is. They find Glaze. It's Scherze. Oh, hey, look at that. They gave him the ace. That's what they were trying to do.
Nice.
Scherze's laughing that one to the bank. Yeah, it was an eco ace, but hey, it's still the first one of the day as Concon still sitting on that automatic shotgun. Oh, no, his teammate bought him a weapon this time. As we're going to see the replay, and nice control there. Again, a lot of missed shots coming out from the side of Miami, and there you go. You see the teammates baiting him out, and that's the AWP in the hands of Zapper, and he's not able to get out in time. His Prospection was blind through that shot, but Thrasher's able to pick up one. We're still seeing more action towards Monster as they are just barging their way in. There's a player towards Sandbags at Scherze. He's not going to make any noise yet. He might try spraying through the smoke to get the bomb carrier.
Right through,
and
too.
he sure did. You are exactly right, Corey. And Kyber's finding himself in no
look how
man's
the
land.
bomb fell, too.
It fell in the worst spot.
It fell over the wall and down into the water.
And he's keeping it nice and warm. Is Concon, and Cookie's looking like he wants to try and get aggressive here. He's like, you know what? I'm going to just play it cool.
Yeah, 1-on-2. You got to play it right.
He's got a minute to work with. Ooh, if he would have found that opening, that could have been it for Prospection. But you know what that spells out, Corey? That is match point here for the side of St. Clair. And look at the money for the side of Miami. They're not going to have much to work with. If anything, they're just going to get glass cannon onto these AKs, and that's that. But they want to get some armor for themselves, at least, as they are getting these Galils and Scouts and one AK in the hands of Kuiper, and then just a Deagle on the Trinity Lord. This has been, oh my goodness, Zapper. Starting that round off hot. Nice flick and find there. That's going to start this round at a 4v4. St. Clair's come out swinging as we actually see an automatic sniper in the hands of Scherze. We might not see any impact as Cookie's found one for himself, and now Prospection's trying to get aggressive towards that AWP. Psycho's actually found him another pick. And here's that automatic sniper. We can see if it's able to do damage, and it sure is. That might actually be the first automatic sniper kill we've seen in this tournament. We've seen it many times, but I don't know if we've even seen it get a kill, as it's the two snipers versus the two Galils in this 2v2 to try to keep this first map going.
Yeah, the last call out that they made was that he was over by barrels. So they're going to take their time. They want to make sure that they do this right. I don't see anybody yet. And there you have it, Scherze coming back into a new angle here. He is not going to be blind. They now know that he's up in heaven. And I'd suspect that Zapper would actually pick himself up a different weapon, but they've got a 15-6 lead, so they're probably happy with whatever comes from this, as making sure that there's nobody playing close quarters there.
Let's see if Gravity gets the best of Zapper. Oh, he decides not to jump down. He decides to stay at heaven still. He's just wrapping around. Now they know he's on site.
Oh,
Zapper's going to get him out.
Up.
He's just sticking it. Oh, he's not able to stick it, as there it is. Psycho's spraying through the smoke. Is that 5 HP? He's got to find the shot here. He's just going to try and stick it, and there it is. There's the peek out from Psycho as he picks up a 4K, and he picks up the AWP, and that's 7 on the board. They've got to climb 8 more in their favor if they want to force overtime to keep this first map going. The money's not looking great on the side of St. Clair, so they might be able to get themselves an 8. But Corey, we're not going to dismiss the eco rounds just yet.
No, I mean anything's possible, and we've seen the eco rounds have been hyper effective, especially the Deagles. And we'll stay here with Cookie right now as he's just creeping his way forward. He's going to be met with one, and we pull away. And we don't see Cookie die, probably for the best.
As you know, we like Cookies a lot.
We do like Cookies
and so
a lot, yeah.
Seeing the demise of a Cookie is not necessarily something we want to see. We've talked about Cookies a lot on this broadcast, and not even talking about the player, but
I don't even feel bad about it either.
I don't either. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No.
There's nothing better than a chocolate chip cookie, and as we say that, Thrasher finds one pick onto Prospection, not able to find the return on the Psycho, as it's now just down to Zapper. He's got the Deagle in hand, and he's just trying to do some damage. He knew where Kybird was at, but Kybird's able to come out on top with the Glock, actually. Trades that out with the Deagle, and now we see 8 on the board. I think we might see another save here come out for St. Clair.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to have to go ahead and buy, but of course they can buy themselves a little bit. Zapper ends up going with a FAMAS. Yeah, I can see them buying a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Other weapon is being Cookie with that MP9, and Concon just decides at the last second, hey, I'm going to get a kit just in case. It's not affecting his money too much. He still got 2750. And if Shirzai's able to find an opening here, that could be nice, but he is not. They play a wide angle, and the Deagle a little bit harder to control the longer it goes, especially after
Yeah, you're
going to
be in a tough spot there, Thrasher. Yep, yeah.
Well, let's see what this FAMAS can do. They've got 2 players watching this angle. They know where they're coming from, and it seems like they're just trying to make some noise for now, as they've got every single angle covered with some form of utility. As Perspection's going to make his way over. The FAMAS is going to find one. They're going to continue swinging, and what on earth just happened? Concon finds 2. Trinity Lord's nowhere to be found to join his team, and he's the last one alive. He's got a minute to work with, but that's the bomb down on the site, and he's got an AWP. 2 of these players have 18 health.
Yeah, he needs to
But
get
they
a
found
assault rifle
weapons, Corey. He's got a lot of utility to work with.
Yeah, he needs to get himself an assault rifle, which, of course, there's not going to be any one of them available to him because they're all inside of the bomb site. And trying to win a 1-on-3 with this AWP is going to be very, very, very difficult because they all know where the bomb is located at. They know that they've got the time in their favor, and they're just watching these basic angles. And he'll continue to work his way here through sandbags. This is the right avenue, but he's about to be collapsed on from all different sides. Now I know exactly where he's at. And they peek out. Now if they start peeking one by one, there's a problem with that.
There's 20 seconds left. He pulls out the pistol, and Cookie's able to close it out. That is 15-8 in favor of St. Clair. That is, 16-8, sorry.
Yep.
That is their map pick, and it showed why. They played a very impressive T side. The CT side pretty much as what we expected. They won Miami won the pistol, and then they just kind of had the money going for themselves. They
had a 7-1 run, where St. Clair had a 7-1 score line against Miami University. So, yeah, that was St. Clair was playing that extremely well. Of course, one of the things I was talking about during our pregame about why the prediction I made what I made was really paying attention to what we've seen from St. Clair. They came out playing, so I think whenever you have 2 hot teams, I thought the way that both teams were playing pretty well based off of their actual caliber. But you can see St. Clair. I mean, they're just a really good team, and really having some good moments. And of course, now they're going to take that momentum that they've got, that 16-8 score line, and then be on the CT side of train to start. This is going to be a tough one for Miami.
Well, it is Miami's map pick, so they're going to have to show us why as we're heading into map number 2. Cora, we've seen Miami on train before, and it hasn't exactly looked the most stellar, but once again, this is their backs against the wall. This is elimination point. If they have a trick up their sleeves, this is absolutely the time to pull it out.
Yeah, so we've partnered with the U.S. Army esports side, and then we've got some in-game analysis of how everything breaks down. Let's go ahead and bring him on board here to kind of talk about how that game shaped up. How you doing?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, mate, kind of talk us through a little bit about what you had seen throughout that game. I mean, St. Clair, they looked really hot.
Yeah. St. Clair came off right away. I mean, the start off was just right away, the Insta 8 push. Miami looked really good. They got that, I believe, that first pistol pick in the beginning, but they were just not able to lock down the A defense as St. Clair was plowing through. Just overview overall, I think I really wanted to see Miami kind of take a breather and take a timeout.
Good call.
Which I did not see come out whatsoever because B was just constantly getting bombarded. I've seen a lot of utility damage. People were down to half health before they were even able to see a player. And then on top of all that, if Shirzai was just lurking out through smokes or just, after all the utility damage, he would just start walking out and was able to get picks. So that was really good from them. Another thing that Miami could have done differently, I wanted to see maybe taking some of that control away from them, taking away those lurks, which they have done, I believe, in like a round 12. They got a really nice round going for them.
Yep.
When they did take that fountain control and they did take that short control, just picking off players one by one, which really slows down that pressure for them. So maybe some pop flashes into the water just to get some information, get some of that early pressure on to really slow down T-side to not allow them so much control. Just overall, lots of, very good plays from lots of players. And it was very interesting to see, how other people play as far as overpass goes. Obviously I have my strats with my teammates. Always interesting to see what other teams do and how they play.
Sure. Well, M8, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to actually seeing your team on the final day on May 10th. You'll be playing against the third-place team. How do you feel going into that? We've got some top-notch teams, but you guys are a well-rounded team as well.
Well, right now we currently don't have like a finalized roster. Actually, we had some people get deployed, some people are in schools. So kind of roster has broken apart just a little bit. So we're going to be bringing in some of the players from the academy and kind of like bringing them in together. So we're just basically going to be running simple strats and having a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you, M8, for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you and your team later on in the tournament in our exhibition matchup against the third-place team here. It's been so much fun. We're going to take a quick break. St. Clair College, they lead 1-0. We're going to be heading over to train after this. Learn more about Army careers in science, technology, engineering, and math at GoArmy.com. More than 150 soldier possibilities ready and waiting. Arlington, Texas, that's where we're at. We're here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. I'm Corey Dunn, joined here with Jonathan O. as we're about to get into map number 2 of this best of 3. It's going to take us to train. But St. Clair College, they came out to play today, really taking it to Miami University of Ohio, 16-8 there on Overpass.
Yeah, that was a lights-out match. I didn't expect them to quite come out as strong as we saw. As I thought it'd be a little bit more of a competitive series. And Corey, you had the 2-0 prediction coming along for St. Clair, and well, this is their map pick, so Miami's going to have to come out strong themselves. They are on the T side. As we know, that can be a daunting task, but at the same time, we've seen a lot of these upper teams playing on that T side, and it seems like it's in their favor at some points. I think the biggest thing we'll have to see is how much control they try to take of the map from the start. As you mentioned it, we just heard it from the interview of M8. He said that they didn't see a lot of utility uses working with each other, didn't try to take a lot of control of the map, should have used perhaps a little bit more of those pop flashes to try to just inch their way forward ever so much. And if there's ever a time to do it, it's right now. And in this map train specifically, you need to see that utility working in your favor.
Yeah, our focus is going to be on Miami all throughout this matchup. If Miami loses this map, they are out of the tournament. And they've been a fun team to watch as we watch them through group play. They had a tough matchup there in the upper bracket round. So here we are. We'll see what they can end up doing against a team like St. Clair in this map number 2. There's 2 things that I'm going to be focusing on. One is how well their executes are and how well those strats were actually planned out, because that's the reason why they would choose a map like Train. 2, they need to execute it within the right time frame. They cannot be waiting towards the last 20 seconds of a round before they're able to do something. Here we are in the pistol round. Trinity Lord getting that first opening, and this is exactly what you need to have happen right out of the gates. Is you need to be able to pick up the pistol round. But Cookie with 2, and he does. He turns on a third, and now it's down to a 2. Oh my goodness, it's Cookie all day long. Yep, and boom is correct. As now it's down to this 1-on-2 Prospection, who's been the LMS throughout map 1. He'll be taken out by Con, but Cookie with a highlight reel of his own, starting off the pistol round in St. Clair College.
Yeah, there's no better word for it than, as Cookie just shutting down that round. They actually started out the gates hot. It was a 2v4 pretty early on, and then all of a sudden Cookies just decides to click every head that he could see. And
looks like we're going to see a rush here, too.
Yeah, we sure are. And Con's going to find, he's going to see them all going in. Like, guys, we might be a little late on this one, but Cookie's not able to find anything there. He gets taken out by the MAC-10 from downtown as Con's able to pick up 1, and that's Trinity Lord. He knew he was there, was trying to hunt him down, and now this is a very strange positioning we're seeing here. We're seeing Glaze towards that upper ladder room, and he's not expecting Thrasher at all. So now they know there's only 3 players onto the bomb site. As Scherze's going to find 1, and Thrasher's making a lot of noise as he's fighting. Oh my gosh, he wins that fight, and that's going to win them the round. They got the bomb down.
Yeah,
so they'll be happy about that.
Miami, of course, they were just looking at it like, let's go ahead and hit the B bomb site, get the bomb planted. So they basically did exactly what they wanted to do. But what's really strange is Cookie. We talk about the FAMAS. Sometimes it goes in your favor, sometimes it does not, and he was spraying all over the place. And then he also had his teammate as well that was giving him some cover fire there. I believe it was Con with an M4, and he also could not get the job done. And so immediately in the round, it was already down to a 3-on-5, and then St. Clair just locks it up, and they pick up the round. Of course, it was an eco round. Now we're going to see a quick push heading here towards the ladder room. And let's see them flood out of this position and see if they can be able to pick up a round. But there you have it, Thrasher with an AWP. Hybrid is going to get taken down. Or sorry, gets one. That was Cookie again. And so now it's left up to Glaze. And Glaze is getting shot. Oh, whoa. Those are so many different buttons on the keyboard. Way too many keys on the keyboard. But one big fat one, the space bar. But there you have it, St. Clair 3, and you've got Miami with 0, and now we're going to see probably our first real gun round coming in here as they're making sure they're able to pick up the right weapons as the bomb will get defused and go to St. Clair.
Was a success, though, on the side of Miami. As you saw, it was just a fast hit out of the ladder room. They were able to get 2 players and the bomb down, so just netting themselves any extra money where they can, and then just trying to make it a little bit expensive on the side of St. Clair. But, Corey, as you mentioned it, a daunting task when you have to start on train and your team is already down 3-0 on the T side.
Yeah, pistols are so important on train.
Now we're seeing the AWP in the hands of Trinity Lord. I don't actually like to see that just because I think that means they're going slow, but I'm exactly wrong. Trinity Lord and team is pushing up way fast onto site. They're not going to check Thursday, and he's going to find 2. That evens up the odds. A nice spray there onto Glazes. It's down to Trinity Lord and Kybrid. Didn't check all of their positions there. The trains have the top of them, and they didn't want to look at them. As it seems like, oh my goodness, Concon's going to walk right into the hands of Trinity Lord, the AWP, and that's going to close out that round. It's over as soon as it started, and Corey, that was the fast round, the fast hit we wanted to see. And we saw it. It was one angle not being checked in the hands of that man we're looking at right there. As sure as he was able to find 1, he was able to find 2, and then he was able to find 3 to even up the odds and close it out for St. Clair. We're seeing one more gun round from Miami before they reset. And if you're on their side, you absolutely need this round.
Yeah, they're executing quickly. One of the things that we talk about is I have no problem with like default setups for the initial, and then you have a solid strat that's based off the information that you have. But what we're seeing so far, all 4 rounds have just been rushes. And then this time they're going a little slow and steady, and they're getting picked apart one by one.
They actually have the B bomb site, but Concon's done enough damage to slow them down, and now that's allowing the rotations to come in. Thrasher's found 1. Oh, Kybrid, you know the guy's there, and you pulled out the other weapon, and now that's going to be the pick, and the bomb going down a second time. Prospections found himself in a 1v5, and what I said was a round you had to win as Miami. That's the difference between 4-1 and then potentially like a 6-0 or a 7-0 scoreline, just because look at how the money has shaped up. But Prospection's going to do some damage before he's left the server, and he really wants this round still, but Cookie says that's had enough as it's 5-0. And Corey, like I said, we could see upwards of like 7-0 at this point as the money's not looking great. The loss bonus has maxed out for the side of Miami, and there's that timeout that we were looking for. They've got to slow this one down.
Yeah, M8 even mentioned himself during during our kind of post-match analysis for Miami when we were on Overpass. They needed to slow themselves down. Kind of taking that timeout just makes a lot of sense. So they're going to take these 30 seconds and try to figure out, okay, guys, what is working? What do we need to do? Because it seems like we were able to get again, as you said, they had the B bomb site. They just didn't have the bomb.
Concon won 2 very important fights there, but then they got the bomb site, and then in Prospection was suddenly the last remaining soldier for their squad. So
well, again, the bomb never made it to the bomb site.
That's correct. Yes.
So I mean, what are you gonna do? Everybody just pop a party favor at the same time.
You're gonna get all your stat track guns, and you're gonna be like, all right, if these numbers can add up to a planted bomb, but there it goes down. The bomb's down
man.
again. This is an eco. It's only Deagles, and well, we've talked about Deagle rounds being strong, and so far Miami has not been able to pull them through. As now they're checking one more angle on Glaze, and Prospection again finding himself in the last one alive. He's doing some damage onto Zapper. He's got himself an M4 now.
That'd be a fun stat to know, just how many times Prospection has been the LMS.
From downtown! Oh, okay. I thought the grenade was going to take him. Dang it.
Yeah, don't you feel silly?
Oh, well, I feel silly for more reasons than just that, Corey. Come on. I walked into this building silly. I walked in with this broadcast with my sweater on, and then you saw we got off camera once, and I immediately took it off because it's not that cold in here.
Yeah.
It's usually much colder, but today it is not. As speaking of cold, Miami, they have started this map absolutely ice cold.
Yeah, our next matchup will be beginning at 6 p.m. It's currently 4:10. So, so St. Clair just. I love moments like that. Whenever you realize the teammate's got spawns, or you know that the player's got a particular health point. You see that Cookie's actually got himself the AWP, but we still have two AWPs right now.
We do,
and they were both. They actually had one watching the inside by himself.
And I would say Concon being taken down, there's actually a pretty... Oh, yeah, he made some noise there. I bet he's wishing he went silently that time around. That's going to actually give him a bomb site, and they're going to go foot on the gas behind it. This could be the first on the board here for Miami. They desperately need it. They need to stop the bleeding, as it seems like the last two players are actually just going to call for the save.
Yep. That's
yeah,
what I
actually,
call.
yeah, looking at it, their money's not great. They lost one of those AWPs. And
two players' money are not great. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. So, well, the other three are actually pretty good, but trying to conserve where they can. They don't need to give it all up, as Miami didn't have the bomb, and so this save is going to just take even longer. But if I'm Miami, I don't think I'm trying to hunt down these guns. As you see, 900, 1300, 500, 1200, 1400. Yeah, you're definitely trying to save. They've saved everything too. Look, head armor and all. We even see Trinity Lord's 3 pieces of utility on himself. They're just trying to make this one as inexpensive as possible for them. And that's going to feel good. This has been like 20 seconds.
This round has been really funny, yeah.
20 seconds of just standing still and just like, all right, Trinity Lord, let's just get the bomb down.
St. Clair's like, hurry up. We're trying to save these weapons.
St. Clair's like, wait a second. Are they going to be coming at the B bomb site now? Wait a
Are they going to chase after this? They still haven't even pushed us yet. I can only imagine the tension that has been building. Oh. This is not going to be... Okay, there it is. I think Cookie needed that because that would have been really tough. I think Glaze would have won that one because he's at 16 HP.
Yeah, if Glaze as much as sneezed on him, he would have taken him out of the round. But seems like... Oh, well, they're actually inching their way ever so much closer. There is one player on upper, and that's Psycho. He might actually find a pick here. And oh, nice flick there from Cookie. Taking out Psycho and says, no, sir. You're not able to find me this time.
6 rounds in a row.
6-2-1 now in favor of St. Clair. They still have weaponry on the back of those 2 saved weapons, and we saw that there was 3 players who had pretty good financial situations. So Miami's got to get through another gun round for themselves, and that's a good start. Thrasher finding himself in no man's land and completely blind. As Thrasher gets himself, Trinity Lord gets himself out of there, and that's 3 players spotted towards Ivy, and they're actually just going to keep running out. That flash grenade just bouncing off the wall on a perfect angle against Zapper, and they're going to use that to the fullest. Psycho's able to find 2, not able to connect on the shot as Cookie. This might be a second on the board. Oh, what a turnaround there from Cookie, but he's not to find anything more, and those are the hits that we want to see on Train. Those are the hits we want to see from Miami. If they keep doing that, they can easily turn the tide back into their favor.
Absolutely. I think again, Miami's got some good strats and being able to execute. They're pushing through their own smokes. They've got some good moves. They just haven't been winning gunfights, and sometimes that's just because of chance. And so right there, you saw a really effective round coming out for them. And in the previous round as well, the 2 rounds that they've got are based off of some really good strats that they've got. And Trinity Lord had a really good spawn. This is an eco round, but Cookie does take 1 before he's taken out of the round. And that's going to do it there for Miami. They've got 3 rounds now.
Something I want to call out, the position that we saw Concon fall was the same position we saw Thrasher fall in the previous round to the same player in Trinity Lord. Something about that position they're just not quite respecting. They're trying to get early into either ladder room or get a position towards E-box.
Right, pretty common. It's the problem is that Trinity Lord's been getting some really nice spawns, which has allowed him to be able to get into position a lot faster. This round, of course, is not that. He does not have that spawn. And so he ends up changing that approach and actually watching towards the brown halls, towards the B halls to start here. So you can be able to watch over the top.
Oh, wow. What meta are we playing? We see 3 AUGs coming out. Scherze's found himself so far forward. He's going to find Prospection. He's going to deal some damage. If he had an HE grenade, I bet you he'd be throwing that instantly. But he only finds himself a flash. Little does he know, there's 3 players in there. He's still holding this angle. They're going to molly him out of it now as he's going to climb back up the ladder. And he's going to see another one. That's the bomb carrier.
They're going to know that the bomb was spotted. They do not know if whether or not the bomb has been taken away, which it absolutely can. Good little loft there with the molly, and great play by Glaze. Yeah, I am questioning the AUG buys. They're expensive, and it's not as effective as the AK sometimes.
I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to take these long angles, use that scope to take longer fights, but they're losing them.
Yeah, I mean, the AK is just as effective. It just doesn't have a scope on. I'm just saying, yeah, in terms of the challenge that they're getting challenged by is the AKs. Like, it's not. Yes, I'm with you. Yeah. The M4s are cheaper, and no, they do not have a scope on it. But you never really. I haven't heard many people in professional Counter-Strike that have been like, man, if only this weapon had a scope, it'd be that much better. The reality is like they're seeing pixels of players, and they're able to pick them off across the map with headshots. That's the talent that you want to get to, not to utilize a handicap or utilize something as special as a scope. But hey, there you have it, 6-4 Miami. They've found their way. They've done a really, really good job of executing these strats. And one of the things that we talk about on Train over and over again, how do you turn it into a T-side train? You do it by being effective in breaking the economy from the CTs.
So what was 6 rounds in a row might be 5 rounds in a row of Miami and then some. So they have shifted this tide and got the momentum in their favor. And Concon's got himself so far forward. Again, jumping. Got a little nervous there. Said, whoa. Jumps his way out of the round. He's only able to find one. He's able to at least do some damage on his way out. What a shot there. That wasn't a headshot, but still a nice flick there as it's a 3v3. You always love to see a nice scout shot as actually Cookie has found himself another pick, and now Prospection's finding himself in no man's land. He gets a player, and that's the AWP left in Trinity Lord. They can absolutely do this. This round should have been easy. This should have easily been their round. He's going to fake it. He's going to poke right into the hands of the AWP. Thrasher's going to, ooh, if he landed that no-scope, that got dicey, but it didn't matter anyways as he was able to pick up the AK, chase him down, and now he's got an AWP in his hands of Corey. That should have been a 5th on the board for Miami. They have let these CTs back into the round on the back of that. It was a partial buy, it looks like. We saw a scout come out. They saw the 2 saved weapons, and then the deagles in their hands. Almost just got to sting just a little bit, but doesn't sting their money enough on the side of Miami as they're still going to have guns. They're just wishing they had that round.
Yeah, St. Clair getting of course, they had the loss bonus as well. So it gave them a better way able to play for a little bit longer there. But here is the AK spray, and finally Cookie with an M4. Now you can see only one player has an AUG this round, which I think is the right call. Yeah, sometimes it's about player preference, but you can see them just trading kills right now. They're just back and forth, and Glaze has got 2 in the round. But he is the last one alive. And they hear him peeking around. And Glaze winning that gunfight, and now Concon. Ooh, that came close. As Glaze almost got himself 4 kills in the round. He ends up with only 3, and St. Clair is now 8-4 over Miami.
That was a pretty big one-on-one there.
Yeah, taking a look. Yeah, let's see how broken every player is because of how much damage Glaze was able to do. But you see the gun round is coming out. Trinity Lord, he's got the op in hand, and Psycho is playing really aggressive in the halls. I think he drops down towards the ladder as well, or about to try to drop down towards ladder.
And this is a big swing round. Whoever wins, oh, just barely off on that wall bang, but this is a big swing round as this could be the next 2 rounds following for 14 and 15 as we see the money on both sides. Not looking great. CTs lose this one. That's certainly going to be 14 as Kybrid's the first one to find a kill on the Scherzays. Now they're trying to make that push through Ivy again. They've had a lot of success with this, as we've seen, and Psycho's making some noise onto that 8 bomb site, and surely they're going to be pushing out here. As Thrash is able to find one, he tries to re-peek the AWP, and he loses that fight. His Prospection fights another one, and Concon's the lone survivor. He's found himself on B upper, and Glaze is going to find him there, and he's going to throw it in the Molotov and just get on out. Not wanting to get anything over to the side of St. Clair where they can, and they're going to get that bomb down in just a few moments. That is essentially all she wrote in this round. That's going to be 5 on the board for Miami, and Concon's going to have to find his way to save himself this AK, because if you, once again, as we talked about, if you look at the money on the side of St. Clair, they are broke as a joke heading into round number 14.
Yeah, they won 2 rounds in a row, so their loss bonus is depleted. This bomb will go ahead and take away here. He will be able to save this AK. I don't believe he'll be challenged in this position. I think they were probably searching for him, probably more so in the B-bomb site.
Well, the last he was spotted was B upper, and as you say that, Corey, it looks like there's 2 players getting kind of close to him. That's Glaze and Trendy Lord, but yeah, they decided just to hold on to their positions. Not too aggressive, but what was a 6-0 score line has turned into 8-5. So if you're Miami, you're absolutely happy to see that.
Absolutely.
That's a great swing of momentum into their favor, and this should spell out a 6th as well, Corey. As we mentioned, the money not there for St. Clair, and given that they're on the CT side, and we've always talked about it's definitely more expensive to play on that side, that could even be the 7th for Miami just based on money. But we'll have to see how these rounds play out, as now they've made their way quickly onto this A site. Glaze the first one in, and that's Concon. The only rifle they able to save from that last round is now out of it. As Thrasher's trying to look for it, he's able to find the pick, and he's able to actually get the AK back in his hands. They're not able to close him out, but that Molotov's going to be all she wrote, as Kybert actually takes him out before he gets roasted alive. All out left to Scherze. And there goes Scherze.
Yeah, as an IGL, I would have been paying attention. Looking at the whole scoreboard, I mean, everyone's pretty close to one another. I'd have probably either, based off of what I've seen in game, not necessarily paying attention to the actual score line, I'd have probably tossed the weapon to either Thrasher or Cookie. That tossed that AK. But of course, you also have to consider he had armor already and so forth. But now Thrasher, who's under a little bit of gunfire here, as he tried to be able to cross, he's down to 24 HP now.
However, he did find himself in that position. He is actually able to make it to the ladder room, but it might not be effective as they've already pushed out to the site. Thrasher's now pushing through the smoke. He's going to find one. They don't check him. He couldn't find the low health player on prospection, but it's a 2v3. Now it's tied down to a 2v2, 1v2. Dropping like flies are all these players. The bomb is down, and now they know where he's coming from. He's going to spray through it, and he's going to walk through it. So that smoke's going to be nullified now. He's got the, nice fight there onto Cyclo and pushing the AWP as Trinity Lord closes it out with 3K for himself in that round, and that's an 8-7 score line in Miami. They are ecstatic to see that. 6-0. I just want to drive that point home. It was 6-0 on the side of St. Clair. And Corey, you know what? I said it might be a 2-1 series, and with that score line on Train, you have got to feel happy about that. Now, this pistol's going to tell a story here. We know that if Miami wins this pistol round, we saw on the side of St. Clair, they were able to get 6 on the board for themselves.
Right. Let's go ahead and see how this one plays. As Scherze starts things off, that's a battle over in the outer train yard. And Concon's going to spot Glaze, but that's not going to be enough. His teammates do not join him fast enough. They end up going in one by one. That's going to leave it up to Cookie now. Cookie, though, was the superior player with that USP in the pistol round to start this game. And now he's taking a little bit of damage, but not a whole lot of damage. As you can see him jump off the ladder, going to give away his position even further. He's going to try to win this gunfight. And the AD is too strong. As now it's 8-8 now.
That is a tied score line. And on the side of Miami, you're thinking to yourselves, all right, this is what we call home. This is why this is our map pick. Corey, at this point, you got to start wondering, are we going to see a Mirage?
Yep, absolutely.
This is a very real possibility at this point as Nico comes through as we'd expect. P250s only on their side as Kybert's already found himself in the ladder room. Glaze is getting aggressive, and man, he's finding a lot for himself already. Didn't even take, actually he took 23 damage. I was looking at the wrong person, but he's still pushing forward through that smoke. And look at this collapse. All of these CTs want to just close out the round. Glaze is going to find himself an 4K is what he's going to find.
Yep, you jinxed him.
I thought he had it. I really thought he had it, and then he ran out of bullets. But that's what I meant to say, Corey. He found himself a 4K.
You got it. Yep. You got there.
But as we talk about that, that is the lead in favor of Miami. Is now 9-8. They have been down and out in this game. We were even talking about, Corey, we thought this would be 2-0 quick. going as this. Well, you did. And in this series, I'm still sticking behind what I saw.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think the detail that I shared is that I thought they had carried over onto the CT side, and Miami just has had a really good T side where
Oh, these
has
guns
some
though.
good executes. But here you go. As Glaze, he is the X factor. And there's just some tagging going on by Psycho, and that's going to do it. 9-9 now.
Oh man, look how close that
Yeah.
round. Look at all those players' health. That is literally like all those gunfights just coming down to just a few bullets. And here's how we see it again from Zapper just charging in. Great shots there. Trinity Lord just absolutely removed. And oh, well, okay. We might have spoke too soon about map number 3.
Yeah, I don't know about that yet.
Well, we just got to focus on what's in front of us. As Trinity Lord's found himself in AWP, Glaze, the only one with no weapon in his hands. As we see a CZ. We know that thing could do some damage, and if he's able to get up close and personal with that, and he could get a gun, he can very quickly turn the tide. He's the only one on the B bomb side, and Kybrid taking an easy fade on Concon. Concon just throwing his pistol down, saying, "Hey, I'm coming."
Yeah, if that's your strat, then just use a decoy.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on this round now. It just seems like they're easy picking. A very incomplete-looking strategy on the side of St. Clair going against these guns. And now there's one player behind him in the smoke spraying through, and that's Psycho. But Trinity Lord's going to find the pick as Thrasher has got it all to do. He's able to find one. That's Kybrid, but he doesn't check the lone player without the rifle, and that is Glaze closing it out and finding himself an AK. 9-10 score line in favor of Miami now. We're going to see, well, let's see what we see out of St. Clair here. It's not great. They've got a decent amount of money, and no surprise there, we're only seeing Deagles.
Yeah, probably going to expect a B rush. Yep, and then they file in. They're going, oh, they're playing against Kyber, or no, who is it? Yeah, they are going to be playing against Glaze.
So what gives you the inclination for the B rush?
It's just based off of just past experiences. That's about it. I mean, they can always hit another bomb site here. But, you know, typically we've seen teams who attack the A bomb site during gun rounds over and over again. They save on their ecos. They go towards the inner bomb site. It's just, you know, for some reason a part of a lot of these teams' DNA. And so now we see them going ahead to start to be able to push out. And Glaze, though, that's the problem, is Glaze is playing really hot. You don't want to go towards a player who's just lights out. 26-14. There's no question that Glaze is the X factor. Look at that, 26-14. The next teammate that's right next to him is Trinity Lord, who is also, as we look at him, is having a really good game. He's 15-10, and then the rest of his team is about 12-13, 12-12, and then 7-15. I mean, Glaze, you know where he plays, and we see St. Clair has decided to stay inside a spawn. What is going on here? Cookie just now breaking from the spawn. That's 5 to 7 seconds after the round actually started.
Yeah, we're already at 1:30, so we lost 25 seconds on the clock and nothing really meaningful. We see Scherze actually pretty deep onto Ivy there, trying to cause a distraction. He's pulled 2 players over. But what's the strategy coming out for St. Clair now? We haven't seen something complete from them.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of a strategy at all from this team.
Prospection made some noise, and there is one player on the exact opposite side, and that's Cookie. And oh, he actually didn't hear him at all, and there he goes. Just handing the AK over, says, hey, take it. I don't want it. Prospection being traded out. Now, Psycho able to find Scherze. 3v3 now after that kill, but Trinity Lord's able to quickly even up the odds, and Glaze is just going to that B bomb site. Not entirely sure about that. Maybe there's just some confusion, not trying to over-rotate, but that's going to be a 1v3 for Zapper now. He's got a mighty task ahead of him, especially since the bomb is down. He's got 38 seconds to work with. That's going to close it out. Trinity Lord, just as the guy you mentioned, he's playing well as well. We've been talking a lot about Glaze, but those op shots have been connecting. And that's the money once again. Not in a great shape on the side of St. Clair. And this is kind of the train that you'd expect coming out from this CT half. St. Clair's only able to find one. On the flip side, Miami has been walking away with this one at 5 in this half.
Yeah, Deagles are back out again, and where we're going? Let's go B, towards Glaze, which is the Shredder. Yep, he's got 2 so far. Going to give him enough time to be able to reload, to rev it back up again. The bomb carrier is going to be caught on fire. It's going to push him out of position. But, oh, finally, Zapper finding that one.
He was on 1 HP as Glaze, and, you know, he's actually still alive despite that Molotov, so that clock is ticking on the bomb. They've got rifles to work with, so they should be able to take this. They're going to get some absolutely crazy deagle shots as Psycho pulls out his grenade, and fortunately for him, he still survives. Now the last player was Concon, but they make quick work of him, and they make quick work of this round. It's 13 on the board. As you see it for him. It's easy for him on CT side of train their map pick, and Mirage is only getting brighter and brighter.
Yeah, Glaze is just playing really well. He's basically able to watch the B bomb site by himself. And the only way that they feel like they have to overwhelm Glaze. So again, Glaze only having to watch one position. He's got 2 angles to worry about. And he's still winning those gunfights. Unreal. Hybrid goes and checks in on his little buddy there inside of the B-bomb site. He says, I'm all good. So now we're back to having 4 players for Miami University outside. And here comes this slow play. And last time this bit them as well, as Prospection decided to go to push up into position. They're just not checking angles anymore. They're just giving things up. And look at that. Just good. I don't know if what's happening now.
Kind of just seems like a DM, doesn't it?
Yep.
They're just like, all right, let's just duke it out in a bomb size. They just go running in. We're not, like you said, they're not checking angles. There's no utility to really even watch their backs, and they're losing fights.
Yeah, their alertness is just not as the same that we saw in the first map. When we were on Overpass, St. Clair just looked like they were hyper alert, and in this game, like again, not reacting to that. Like that right there is a sign of not being able to. I mean, something. You want to see something as a reaction, even like a wild flick and missing a click, right? Like there's no reaction to that. You just dropped, and it was a lot of these gunfights they do take a while. I'm not seeing anybody really in this game just quickly clicking heads. We're seeing like 5 to 10 bullets being shot by these teams, by these players in their individual gunfights. So.
Corey, I want to bring up one thing here. I looked at my notes, and it seems like every time we saw a series with St. Clair, they banned train first or second.
That's a good call out.
And so maybe what we're seeing as to why is it
they never play it.
Their T side's getting pretty difficult, but they're able to even up the odds. That AWP's doing some work in the hands of Zapper. This one could be their round. Finding himself in a 2v2, and Glaze is on the flank. You have to expect it from him, and that's all we had talked about in him, and he's been this anchor in this map. He's holding the down for a team, and he's now gotten it into their favor. It's left to Cookie. He's got the bomb. He doesn't know where this last player is in Glaze, and he's going to actually have the advantage. Cookie is able to find Glaze and close it out as Cookie gets the 10th on the board for St. Clair. 14 and 10, still in favor of Miami. 31 for Glaze.
Yeah, the questions you have to ask, do you attack Glaze or do you attack the 4 players?
Glaze? I go after 1 versus 4 anytime. But, I mean, look at that. You weren't kidding. It's literally 1v4.
And who's that? That's actually going to be playing. That's Hybrid playing close quarters. See if Cookie decides to drop his pistol down there again.
This is unbelievable.
It is not a pistol whale. Don't throw in there to wish for a round. See, he could have lofted. He didn't have to throw it like that either. So,
I was probably expecting him to be a little bit further back. And oh my gosh, actually checks for him and he wins that fight. And that's going to be the opening. They're just going to quickly make their way onto the A bomb site, but not behind any utility. They're just going to walk on in there. Trainee Lord's got a little indecisive there. And now it's just down to Glaze. He's finding himself rotating off that B bomb site. Corey, well, you called it. Who do you go for? You go for the 4 players or you go for Glaze? And they decide, let's go for the 4 players. But they left Glaze alive and they haven't checked for him. Now they know where he's at. It's a 3v1. He finds 1 pick. Scherze's getting aggressive, and he might find himself in a perfect spot. But Glaze finds the perfect placement on the crosshair.
Why challenge? I don't. You haven't had much luck challenging Glaze, so why challenge? It just makes it easy for him. One-on-one battles. This is where your 1v4s just become 1v2s, 1v1s because they decide to challenge. See this right here. This is post-plant position is the right way to play. No reason to peek. See that? I'm okay with that slight edge, but then don't peek him there. Of course, you could shoot through the electrical box, and he does pick it up there. But 14 to 11, they will be able to save the AWP. Let's see who's got a better spawn. Let's see if Zapper decides to go ahead and take this one. Looks like he did probably drop off his weapon there.
I think he will. He's been the guy who. Oh, well.
Cookie.
Okay, well, it's actually Cookie. I was about to say, Zappers looks pretty good on that AWP in this half. He's found a lot of crucial picks, opened up that 8 bomb site. And now we see 2 players pushing through on that B side just because. Oh, and actually 2 players going aggressive on Ivy.
A
this
Diggle
is
save. Wow, I didn't even pay attention to that. The fact that they're this broken, but they're really not too broken.
Oh, they're gonna have no idea. Shirzay's gonna get complete. Oh, I didn't even realize Zapper was next to him, and now they're gonna close that out. They find those 2 players getting aggressive on B, and they're just actually gonna focus their attention to A. They've already found the bomb site towards E-Box now getting it closer to the site. Trinity Lord's going to try to come from Z. We see Shirzay picking one up, and there's the other one. There he goes. The last person is Psycho, and he was the guy going towards Ivy a long time ago. He doesn't even have a deagle. Cookie's even waiting for it. Psycho's just trying to see if he can get a better angle, and actually he does. As Cookie, he's going to take that fight every day of the week. He's going against the USP, and that's 12 on the board here. Okay, Corey, we're getting down to the wire. At 33 kills from Glaze, will it be for naught? As we see them investing into this round. If they lose this round, we could see a even up scoreboard. As they're just quickly going to that ape side. It looks like Cookie, oh, if he would have pulled the trigger a half a second sooner, he actually would have found the wallbang and some damage there. As again, it's Glaze, the only person on that B bomb site. He is so confident.
I mean, you have to be. The way that you've been playing lights out, you've got you really have 0 competition. You've won every initial gunfight that you've had per round. You have to feel confident. You have to be able to play off of that. As here comes the smokes, and again, they decide to go ahead and push before the smoke even blooms. Why? Then why throw the smokes? That's my always question. And now you can see they're starting to get it picked off one by one. They were allowed them to be able to get back into a new position, and they lose every gunfight. They're great job by Miami University. Just they had 4 players out there, so because Glaze has been playing well on the inner train yard.
If I'm St. Clair and I go back to watch this one, I'm kicking myself thinking, oh my God, we let 1 player stop us from going from B the entire game. They could have tried to do at least like a split push out of B upper and
that's
then B
that
tunnels
right
and B
there
ramp.
is the accurate call out. Is that they always challenge him from just basically a singular angle, and then there it is. Zapper finally going to get himself one.
Yeah, Trinity Lord didn't need to get aggressive, so that might be an opening. But the grenade, ooh, doesn't connect.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was playing aggressive. He probably he got himself an angle. But there you go. Right after that, Psycho picks up 2 as he picked up the AWP, I believe, from Trinity Lord.
Look how aggressive Perspection got. Little did he know, if he just looked down, he would have seen Con. His Perspection's probably going to try and push up now as Thrasher's taking out Kybrid. Glaze is pushing aggressively towards B upper, and he's able to take out Cookie. It's now down to 1 player in the hands of Con. He's got the AWP and it all to do. He doesn't have the bomb. And there's 1 player right below him, and that's Perspection. He's going to find him, and he's going to tap his head, and he's going to send us on to Mirage. 16-12 in favor of Miami, and they had a great into that first half, and they had an even better CT hold. Name of the game there was Glaze. That man holding it down the B-bomb site alone the entire half.
There you have it. I mean, Miami, they come back, and they show why they chose Train. They had I mentioned it during the pregame for this map, is the fact that they need to showcase why they selected. There's 2 reasons of things that they need to be able to do. They need to be able to execute well, and they need to execute within the right amount of time. They did both of those things. And one of the things I'm going to give them another shout out to, they were shut down in the beginning, right? There was multiple. I think we had 2 gun rounds that we actually had seen, and Miami was shut down. They could not get either bomb site. They were struggling already. And then they kept going, which sometimes you just need to say, like, we are winning gunfights. We're getting to a point, because they were getting to a point into the map, and they were just barely losing those rounds. And then in the end, you've got Miami University able to come out on top there, 16-12. But what a game coming in there. It's all tied up 1-1 in this map count, but whichever team loses this, they go home, or whichever team wins this will move on forward. But let's go ahead and take a look. We talked a lot about Glaze. Glaze is that key figure throughout the whole matchup. You can see 35 and 18 is where he ended up. He was one player that was watching the B bomb site by himself, and we did not necessarily get to see the entire CT side either. So that again shows how effective he was on the T side. You got a 1.25 KRR, headshot percentage 57%. He had 2 quad kills, which is nice to see. One of which he was trying to be able to transfer that into being an ace, but 120 ADR. That's nice to see.
That is ridiculous. Just the impact. I mean, I would say that scoreboard doesn't even tell how much. 35 kills. That's huge.
Yep.
That's absolutely huge. I'm not going to take that away from him, but he literally shut down the B bomb site every single time. Sure, they got a few bomb plants there, but they never had success. And they, after that one time they tried it, in which it was an eco round, in which it was like a 3v4, and where we saw that it was Psycho pulling out the grenade in a weird position there. They never went back because they were just so afraid of that one player. And if that has anything that we're going to see into this map on Mirage, then St. Clair might have a tough time. But Corey, this one's gone as I predicted, and I think now that we've seen pretty good showings from both of these teams on both of those maps, I think it's truly up in the air.
Yeah, no, we'll absolutely see. So coming up next is Mirage, map number 3 of this best of 3. We'll see who is going to come on top next. Reload Collegiate CSGO Invitational is brought to you by the U.S. Army. More than 150 careers. Find what your warrior best fit at GoArmy.com. We're back here for map number 3 out of this best of 3 between St. Clair and Miami University of Ohio. In the very first matchup, it was all St. Clair. Overpass had complete control from a full team aspect from St. Clair. We got into map 2. I guess they had shaken the magic 8-ball, and the whole thing just flipped up on
it said,
top of its
try
head.
again.
Yeah, exactly. And then we saw Miami University just dominate on the T side once we got deeper into the T side, and Glaze just played really, really, really well.
And something I just want to comment on, this might be the first time in this tournament where we've seen where each map pick went in favor of the team that picked it, convincingly. We saw exactly why St. Clair wanted Overpass, and we saw exactly why we saw Miami University of Ohio wanted Train. But here we are. This one's the decider. No team had any say into this one other than they banned out the maps they didn't want to see. I believe it went down to Inferno versus Mirage. So if anything, Miami University of Ohio had that decision to make. So we don't get to see the championship map, but we have seen Mirage in a lot of these series. And that's exactly what we're going to see now. And this is the knife round. This one's an important one because normally we see knife rounds that they determine. Well, normally, in this situation, it determines who starts on CT and who starts on T side. Is looking like it's going to be in the favor of that, of St. Clair. So, already starting map number 3 in somewhat of an advantage, I'd say. But, Corey, we've seen so many things pan out on this Mirage map. We've seen it so many times. In fact, this is the #1 leading map in this tournament at 19. Getting ever so close to that 20 mark.
St. Clair starting off on the CT. Let's go ahead and see how Miami, they want to be able to break this one.
They had 2 decoys at St. Clair.
They probably heard my broadcast saying if you want to go ahead and do the fake flash with the pistol, might as well just go ahead and get yourself a decoy.
And he said, well, we like that idea so much, we're going to get 2 decoys, Corey. Now we're seeing what other than a fast beat, or excuse me, a quiet beat push. As Concon's going to be on site, he's going to fall down from that position as he got flashed. Gets flashed again, is not able to find a pick. Shurzay's running out of bullets. He's going to be able to find nothing for himself. But Thrasher's able to pick up one, trying to even up the odds, and that's a bomb plant. And that is a successful take onto the site. We now see a 3v3 here. These players are starting to make their way in. Kybrid's towards bench. Oh, it's a 4v3. Well, now it's a 3. Okay, now it's a 3v2. We're seeing great shots coming out, and Zapper's trying to close out this round. As it's all up to man who did it last time, and it's Glaze. He's got a Molotov, and that's going to actually stop them from the time being. They're going to push him. They haven't found him, and there it is. That should be able to close out the round. The Molotov is actually in the perfect spot. This one's going to be close. Okay, not as close as I thought it'd be. It is still pretty dang close. That Molotov was able to stop them. Okay, wow. Okay, I had to hold my breath there.
Yep.
Oh, man. I just remember what you told me before we started. You said, John, don't trust my graphics. And
Well, now I completely recoded
and
it.
I told you from the start, I'll trust him, but I saw it and I heard it. I was like, oh, did I speak too soon? But did not.
Yep.
So the Molotov was just a fraction of a second too early. Could you imagine if he just threw that 1 second later? That is the round in their favor. But St. Clair now finding one on the board. They go full rifles. And actually, that was an AK from Kybert, I believe. I saw that. And that was another AK in the hands of Psycho that's fallen down. Oh, my goodness. This round is completely unfolded. They invested in that. They're going to call it out and say, hey, dudes, they got AKs. Come grab some. Go get it for yourself. And they're able to pick up one. And they're going to exchange that. They actually had an MP5 for themselves. We don't see that weapon very much.
Yeah, we'll see them have an MP5 here now, too. All right. One of the things that we probably need to go back and look at is St. Clair probably does not like, they banned nukes. That's one of the things I was questioning is if they didn't play that well, if they knew that they didn't play well on train, then why didn't they ban it? And I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's nuke. It's very similar to other maps that are like that. So Vertigo, nuke, all that stuff. So I think the next time, and looking at it, St. Clair did ban Vertigo too. So I think that's why we ended up with the maps that we've got, is because Miami was prepared on a map like Train. And so that's probably something that I just didn't pay attention to when we were talking about map pick bans.
Some of their previous bans, St. Clair, they were the very first team we actually saw in this tournament. It was Vertigo, Nuke, and Inferno, only because Texas A&M already previously banned Train first.
Got it.
And that's where we saw that. And I'll look through some more of my notes. Concon's holding it down with this MP5. He's going to get himself 3 as Scherzay's there with the assist. And that was against the Nico. But, hey, look at that money that Concon was able to get. He now leads his team behind Cookie at 7,000. And that's where these SMGs, as you mentioned it, Corey, sometimes it's better to get that lower weaponry just because you know you're going against the Nico. And you could just get easy picking kills as you will with an AK or excuse me, a rifle. But you're getting that extra $300 for it, and that can sometimes make a pretty big difference.
Yeah, you also know that usually your opponent does not have head armor too, and so you can do so much more damage with it as well. So, but now we see the AKs, and Concon still does not upgrade, which I think that's going to bite him here in a bit. So let's see, Concon is actually playing with his teammate Thrasher, who's got an AUG.
Corey, just to take a step back for a second here. St. Clair against Kansas State banned Vertigo, Train, Nuke. So no surprise to see that coming out. And yeah, this is where that MP5 might be biting him, and that's where the AUG doesn't find success. The AK of Perspection able to cleanly take out Thrasher. He's going to upgrade here to the AUG, so that's a pretty big bump up if you ask me in these positions he's holding now. Ooh, nice shots there from Zapper as he just swings out. Got his Prospection completely off guard. And now in this position, the AUG's not too bad. If he would have played from the truck there, which he will not because he threw that in the smoke. He's trying to hold this angle. We saw this from him in the first round. And Glaze is going to be the first one in with 13 HP. Smartly trading, as you mentioned, the lower health player.
Let's take a look at, yeah, there it is. Able to see Concon, see if he can be able to hold this one down. And he does. That's great round there. He's able to do a lot of damage. And now it's, but it is a 2-on-2 right now. The bomb is, oh no. And there it is. Cookie was just holding down. He had the scope. It was fixated on the wall, and that's where the last player fell into play. 4-0 in favor of St. Clair.
We saw this on Train. It was 6-0. We have to keep tabs on that. We got to keep tabs on how Miami's able to bounce back from this. It's a different map.
Yes,
it's a completely different map, so we can't use the same assessments. But what we do know is about this map is it very much can swing back and forth. It's obviously not as CT-sided as that of Train. As we see Cookie is just jumping around now. Maybe he's trying to be like, hey, I didn't miss that jump. I actually just wanted to go down. He's just trying to poke over the smoke, see what he can find. Looks like we might see a delayed A hit here. We see one player in Glaze. He's taking some damage towards mid. As they're now rethinking themselves. They've got 3 smokes to work with. Oh, 2 smokes, excuse me. That's a Molotov and a flashbang. So we got 2 smokes, 2 flashes, and a molly to work with here. So they've taking their time, and there it goes. The smokes have, one smoke has gone out. That's gone towards CT, so that's going to remove the AWP out of the picture for now. And Zapper is getting destroyed there by Psycho. instantly taken out. Thrashers return the favor, but that means the bomb site is there as that smoke is still down. They haven't gotten the bomb down just yet. That's the player towards mid as Glaze is taken out. It's a 3v4 retake. No players have quite gone to the site yet. 2 playing from the connector. There's 1 in jungle, and well, now there's 1 in connector. Now there's 2 in connector. They're just poking at 1 by 1. The AWP is able to make some impacts in the hands of Cookie. They now know he's there, and Concon's found 1. It's down to just Prospection with 20 health. And the AWPs, ooh, doesn't find the shot. He's got 20 health. He finds the AK smartly. And now all Prospection has to do is just not take the fight, but he wants to, and he closes it out with the 1-tap onto Cookie, getting 2 for himself and getting the first round of the board for Miami.
Yeah, I think Miami is just that they've been heating up since train.
And you know something I want to bring up, Corey, is when we were watching Prospection, we're going to have to keep an eye on him when we go into the CT side because he was an anchor towards Connector. He would play Catwalk, and he would just wipe everyone out on the side of Connector. So if he's able to warm up on this T side, I think he's going to warm up even more going into the CT side. As we're seeing it now, the first person to go down is Cookie. The bomb's still pretty far behind, but they've got themselves in pretty good stances. Zapper now finds himself exiting the round, and they're trying to take their positioning over to Connector once again. Prospection's going to find himself in a very good situation here. Scherze was not prepared for that fight, and Concon's going to be looking at it like, well, do I want to take that fight either, or do I want to try and save this gun? As he's still watching through, he's actually going to go forward, and he's going to go towards window. He's actually going to win that fight, but now he is all alone, and they know where he's at. He wins another fight. They're trickling into him 1 by 1, and he's going to try and find this AK. He will. He's got 30 bullets in that, too, so didn't even shoot. Well, if you're going to throw a flash, you may as well wait for it to pop, and maybe he was hoping they would look away from it, but they did not, so that's the second on the board in favor of Miami, and now they've broken the money on the side of St. Clair. 0-5 is Trinity Lord with that AWP. Thankfully, his team has been there to support him because we know if he can get hot, he can make that weapon work. So we're seeing a 4-man stack here on the A-bomb site as Concon's the last person on the B side, and he's playing towards Connector.
Yeah, you see them all stacking over here with these Deagles. This round's gonna take a bit to get started, because you're not gonna see anybody really start to execute. The only player that's really gonna be moving around a lot is actually gonna be Glaze, but that's pretty normal. The rest of his teammates just waiting. Not seeing anything that looks like we're gonna be executing anytime soon. Concon's probably about to challenge here, but oh, it looks like actually Glaze is already set up in his position as well. He's gonna kind of he spotted himself 1. There comes the molly.
And that's going to force a rotation, a big one at that. Look how these CTs are just firing off the site. Cookie's got an inclination that they're going to be here. Prospection checks the corner. He's going to take out Zapper. Psycho's going to do easy picking now. As he's found 1, he's just trying to 1-tap away, and there he goes. Finally finds it. As it's just left to Thrasher, who is running back and forth. He's able to pick up 1, but it's not enough. It's not enough damage, in fact, as the money is accruing on the side of Miami, as they're looking to tie this one up at 4-4. What seems like might be another. Okay, well, they fully invest into this round. They're only going to have. They're really going to have not too. Well, okay, I guess that's fair enough.
Yeah,
that is fair enough. Thought they were going to just try to get them down to that $2,000 mark, maybe get some armor, upgraded pistols, and some utility work, but they decided to go for the rifles and less utility. We see the momentum in favor of that of Miami. We saw 6 rounds of St. Clair, and this time only 4. Reminder, this is elimination match for both of these teams. Whoever loses will go home. Seems like these rifles are paying off in the favor of St. Clair's. Glaze just was glazed over. Was not prepared for that push at all. Hybrid doesn't check the angle before he jumps onto the stairs, and suddenly like that, Trinity Lord finding himself to be the last player. 10 HP to work with. Corey, I'm not sure how that round unfolded. There was a lot of action that kind of took place all over the map, and it just seemed like the utility wasn't there for Miami.
Exactly.
They kept trying to take these one-on-one fights and kept losing them.
Exactly.
Maybe too much confidence coming from Train. We saw that's kind of what St. Clair was doing. The same thing of trying to find these one-off fights, kept losing trying to take that confidence into this map, but as a decider map, especially that into the Mirage, I don't think that's kind of the play style you want to exhibit.
Yeah, I saw a few different kills that basically you had players that was trying to hold really rough angles, and then they just were taken out from the side because it's that rough of an angle, and so they just got picked off one by one. And the rounds that we've seen success for Miami has been executes and overwhelming a site and then being able to hold it down. And there you go, Concon finding the last one here and just giving up that AWP. Let's see here. And that just, again, that gives St. Clair an AWP as well.
Immediate timeout coming out from Miami now. We only saw one timeout on the side of Train. We only saw one timeout so far in this map.
Yeah,
they only needed one timeout last map.
Yeah, and that timeout was super effective.
It absolutely was.
I mean, right after that, and that was something that you'd heard from M8 from the U.S. Army.
Oh, look at that. They actually overbought in M4. Concon was holding on to one. He threw it over the wall as he picks up that one now. And, you know, that's not a big deal. It's not too big a deal, but that is. The M4 is what, like $3,400?
31.
3,100. That's got to, you know, I'm sure they would love to have that one back, but if they're able to take this round, they won't be fronting it too much. As it seems like we're seeing a fast A execute now. All 5 players are there. 2 players coming out of Palace. Here we go. Glaze is actually the only player not on a rifle. I think I disagree with that, just how hot he was. Maybe he's confident he'll find a pick with that Tech 9 and then be able to pick up a rifle for himself, and maybe just trying to keep his team high hopes. As here we go. Here comes the execute. Smokes all over the place. We see even Molotovs coming out everywhere. They got one on Palace, so those players having to run out quickly. Zapper's going to be able to find one. Glaze barging forward with absolutely no information. Not able to find anything, but he's able to find one player, and Zapper sees the foot. Oh my goodness, he sees the rifle. Finally, he's able to go up there and he takes the kill on Prospection. Kybrid is taken out, and that was a bit of a messy take there from Miami. That timeout not working in their favor this time.
John.
Hey, Corey.
I don't know how to view this game. I've been trying to figure it out all map long, and what there's not a whole lot of consistency that I'm seeing across the board. I mean, currently right now is we can hop over to Glaze right now too. So you can see player 6 is just probably that's the reason why I wanted to talk about him for a second.
There he goes.
He's 2-9, and we just did a whole player profile on him just a second ago, and we're just not this. It's just so hard to kind of make it a proper assessment of how the game is because no players are playing consistent at all, even from map to map. And so, right there, you've got they're holding down these angles here.
Just jumps out there.
And that's just one by one.
Without his teammate.
There's no teammate that was right there to follow. Of course, this is an eco round. They are saving here. But still, ecos are traditionally they're traditionally won.
Eco rounds traditionally win.
That's white. That's very white.
That's very white, Corey.
I'm hunting for wabbits. All right, so, yeah, I was a huge fan of Looney Tunes when I was a kid. Oh man! All right, so you got Prospection and Trinity Lord. They're basically waiting this one out to see if anybody decides to push forward. But Thrasher's got this angle. Wait for it. Is he going to creep across? He will not. And there it is. And Prospection now all by himself. I don't know if he's been spotted.
Well, he's been heard, that's for sure. He's been taken out. So, Corey, I mean, to your point is a lot of confusing play, I would say, coming out from Miami here. Is their teamwork is not there right now. I think they got so maybe what they're thinking is they got so confident in Train and just constantly winning
Trinity
those
Lord's
gunfights.
1-8.
Always getting those always getting the angles they wanted, always getting the picks that they wanted, and they're just transfer that to Mirage, and you just can't do that. You can't do that. As we've seen so much success on the side of St. Clair and their teamwork on this map, and we know they're capable of winning gunfights, and we know they're capable of pretty strong holds. And I almost say that Miami's not respecting that to some extent, and they're just trying to play this pub-style match where they're just trying to find these picks over and over. As Scherzer's able to just poke out and find one with Thrasher there on the AWP. Now Kyber's being taken down as he just walks into the fire. He says, you know what? I'm not playing so hot, but I'm feeling hot.
I mean, if you look at it, so two players that were playing really well on Train was Glaze and Trinity Lord.
2 and 9 and 1 and 9.
And then you've got Psycho, who is struggling on Train.
10 and 9.
So Miami, again, it goes back to their success that they had on Train was because of executes. And the only thing it's not necessarily confusing. It's just the consistency of watching what these teams are doing and trying to make a play here.
Yep. So with that, let's just stay here with Glaze. I want to see how he's going to try and use this utility as they get out here, because they could even be overthinking it. We see many times where we just say to ourselves, "Can we stick with Glaze here?" I want to see how he's trying to use this utility. So he's going to throw the bomb back. I want to see if he tries to get utility out or if he's just feeling confident and just wants to run his way out. Well, he saw one head, and he's actually found himself just positioned. They just walked out. Okay, oh my goodness, and that was Corey. Oh no, that's why I wanted to stick with him. I wanted to see if he just felt confident in his gunplay and pulling out the Molotov at the absolute worst time. Yep. Getting picked off there, and Prospection's not able to win that fight. That, Corey, that was the exact reason I wanted to stay with him.
No, I'm with you.
That is the confidence now that they've lost, because he was so strong with his weapons last map. They were able to find one easy
he's just
opening.
running around like crazy. I mean, Glaze on Train was just he was just there. He was just always there. I mean, he's on every part of the map. He was just involved. And here, as you said, I mean, pulling out a molly out in the open.
On Train, he always had his gun out in hand. We always saw him with that M4. We didn't see him trying to pull out mollies, and we didn't see him try to. The molly misses there towards window, which allows an opening there for Thrasher. 2 openings, actually, in fact. Boy, now they're going to be kicking themselves for that molly as this round is just unfolded. Psycho goes down to a grenade, and this is just falling apart for the side of Miami. And, you know, Corey, we say it's a CT-sided map, and I think we've kind of been focusing a little bit too much on Miami, but St. Clair, they've been doing well. They've been taking advantage of what they're seeing, and they're capitalizing off of it. As we see 14 and 5 the side of Thrasher, 11 and 6 on Cookie, 12 and 5 on Con. Like, they're playing great. We've been focusing a lot on the side of Miami underperforming, but at the same time, as St. Clair has been able to recognize that, and they have stepped up their game, as they're going to find Glaze here, and Glaze is just going to stand in the fire and burn himself out of the round.
Yeah, the reason why I focus so much on the Miami side is because what they're doing, they're not staying consistent. They're not running out as a team. You can see them whenever we saw it a moment ago. They're going into action one by one. This is an eco round, and they're still going into the action one by one. That matchup between Kybrid and Zapper, even though, again, Kybrid was able to win the gunfight, it's still one by one.
Oh.
Hey.
Okay, well, I was about to say.
Running Deagle headshot.
There's nothing that makes Corey Dunn more upset than getting killed by a running headshot of any gun in any game. Ooh, Thrasher. Nice find there, but risky. He's going to be happy to walk away with that one as 2 players sitting below 20 health, and Kybrid is going to get spotted picking up that gun, and once again, Thrasher looking so hot on this AWP. Prospection's going to challenge him.
Good play.
He's going to win that one. Yeah, all he had to do was get that 1 kill. He's down to 15 HP. He's got 38 seconds to work with. The bomb, however, we didn't see this, but the bomb, look at it. It is down on the middle of the A side, actually even on top of a box.
Nice.
It's just trying to blend in with the other bombs there.
That's right.
This Prospection's got himself in an entry position. Oh, misses the shot, and Cookie could have gotten aggressive on it. But that is going to be Con with the perfect placement there. Good teamwork there on the side of St. Clair, and that's going to be 10 on the board. 10-3 here in this first half. Running away with this is St. Clair. We would see a little bit. We would thought we would see a little bit more of this one-sidedness on Train. Miami able to even up the odds, however, and go to an 8-7 half as we see an AWP back in the hands of Trinity Lord. Weaponry and utility now in the hands as they are quickly pushing out to B. Glavis 3 and 12. Not having the same performance, but he actually finds some shots through the wall. And Scherze, had he kept going, he might have found that kill.
All right, see if Miami, they decide to go back to their default setup across the map, dropping the bomb inside of spawn, slowing down their own momentum that they had from earlier. You know, it's one of those things. It's the things that you see from teams like RMU and UCF, and they keep their momentum. They continue to smash all throughout the rounds in this game have just slowed down their own momentum, and that right there, goodness. And Concon was blind in apartments as he'd taken down Glaze.
Kyber himself's got a good position here. Zapper might not be prepared if he tries to jump over, but obviously jumping with that AK lends yourself not very much accuracy as he just sees him falling down, and
he doesn't even help his teammate in that situation.
Well, Corey's down to Kyber. He's got the bomb now. Let's see what he can do with it. He's found one. They know where he's at. They're both blind as a bat, and he's not able to do anything as Kyber was trying to get himself out of that situation. But St. Clair keeping him in it, as now we're at the last round of the half, 15-3, or excuse me, 11-3. 15-3 would be impossible in the first half, but now AWP coming out in Thrasher's hands and in Cookie's. Thrasher had an interesting, they gave up mid, and then he decided to peek through a window last round, and that was his demise, and so I don't agree with that. But whoa, a fast A push here. The Molotov is, they're just going to walk right around it, and Zapper is going to take Trinity Lord out. There's only 2 players on this side, and they're able to do all the damage as the rotation's coming on quickly over. Psycho's trying to find the taps towards Thrasher. There we go. Here's a quick execute now. They're just not getting the bomb down, and all these players are able to collapse on the site. It's all up to Glaze, the man we've talked about so much, and that is a collateral through Thrasher. He gets his teammate, but hey, we count those as it's 12-3 in favor of St. Clair. And man, Miami, they've got to find something. They've got to dig deep if they want to stay into this tournament, because it is looking rough. Their backs are against the wall more than ever in this position. They absolutely have to start by winning this pistol round.
No question.
I don't think they're going to be nearly as intimidated on Glaze on that B bomb site as they were on Train. But here we go. We see some utility coming out, so it looks like we want to do an A execute. And here we go. Hybrid found himself very aggressively towards Palace, and he's going to try to hightail it out there. He's able to make it, but now they know he's running, and they're going to chase him behind his Glaze. He's smoking through stairs, but he will find himself smoked off as they find Kyber and they find themselves the bomb site. So
Good
that's
smokes.
already a win in their book by getting that bomb down. But what it'd be even better if they get this round, as now the Zapper is just getting aggressive. No reason to do that, and oh, Cookie's there to support. Glaze is on the site with his teammate playing with them, and that's Trinity Lord. This is a weird place to play with these players on the T side. There's 2 in CT. That's a 1v3. Trinity Lord's got a mighty task ahead of him. We know he's great with this USP. He's going to have some magic, and just missing that one by a hair. And Corey, this is going to be an uphill battle even more than ever. It's uphill in the snow, barefooted, no jacket on. The wind is blowing. It's 13-3 in favor of St. Clair.
Yeah, the way this game has gone is just we're seeing a completely different Miami team.
Oh, and Miami forces. Look at that.
Yeah.
Eagles and Scout. They want to take every advantage they can. If they lose this round, that's gonna be 15. Absolutely. So
They feel like they're in the situation if they allow St. Clair to already get onto AKs quickly, then this game is over. They probably thought that they have a fair chance to be able to win here, but that is just 4-16.
he didn't even find a shot onto Thrasher. He goes untouched. So now they're just making their way into the site. Thrasher is just checking every angle, clearing it for his team. Says, all right, guys, let's go. Let's take this game out. As one piece of the puzzle falls from Perspection, they are now hunting down Psycho, who's had some pretty good deagle shots. He's able to find 2.
He has had some good deagle shots.
And now if you're on the side of St. Clair, you're trying to slow it down.
Oh my gosh. I just saw Trinity Lord.
Well, you did see him, and now you saw him exit the servers. It's going to be 14-3 here shortly. They're going to try and find Psycho here, but Psycho's finding some great shots for himself. These players are actually pretty low. He's got 3 health to work with, and he's got to do it with the clutch and the ace to close this one out. He does not have a kit. He's found himself a Galil. That Maul is going to seal the round, and he's not going to find the kill. So that's 14-3 in favor of St. Clair, and that should be 15, Corey, as they forced into that round.
John, we're in round 18. And now you can see the weapons coming out here. They decide to go ahead and force here with whatever they can. So we've got UMPs, we've got a Scout, we've got an MP9. I guess we have a UMP and a FAMAS. And Psycho, who's been really effective with the Deagle, does not have one.
Thrasher's just walked through connector. They weren't even watching it. He just made his way in, and this is how they opened up last time. Thrasher's going to check the angle. He actually gets taken out by that MP9. Okay, Kyber's done some good damage, but they just let him in for free. Absolutely, for free.
Man.
I sound like an infomercial right now. That's how free it was.
I'll buy 2.
I mean, Thrasher will. He did that 2 times in a row. He did buy himself 2. He got the buy one, get one for free, as now Psycho's left alone again in the clutch situation. He's able to find one in the zapper, but it's not going to be enough. They even get the bomb down, so insult to injury is here on the last round potentially for Miami University of Ohio. They have to dig deep. I know I've said that a lot, and I'm going to repeat it again, as they have forced every single round. And I mean, they at this point they absolutely have
John,
to. They have no other choice.
That's been the most consistent thing that I've about this map is you just saying that to them. So now there, finally, Glaze is getting himself. He's got himself 1. There goes.
That's an
Kyber.
A bomb site. There's no one there.
Yeah, there's going to be some action here right inside of mid, and there's that. I've seen this happen way too many times where players are trying to use pistols. Braxton did that ages ago, and it was effective then.
He's now a Valorant
But it was
player.
also a room, thousands of fans that were in an arena, and the tensions were high, and there was lots of money on the line.
Good shot there from Zapper at least. So we've seen a very impressive game from Zapper.
Oh yeah.
He is, I think, 21 and I'm not sure how many deaths he has. 21 and 10, and he's already found 2 in his round, and he's waiting for the bomb to go down. Oh, he's actually the one holding the bomb, so he's going to get it down now. They're going against the Scout, and an MP7. That's not a gun you see much very often, but that's all they could afford, so he's going to take it. Tapping away now. That's going to be the Scout in the hands of Psycho. He's been doing well for his team.
Psycho, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but Prospection picks up an AK and doesn't check the angle. All it takes is 1 Scout shot, and he's found himself an AK. 39 HP versus 27. He's not sticking it wisely. This Concon just waiting out the time, playing this exactly how he needs to. And now Psycho's getting aggressive. He's going to hear this. Concon just needs to run away. He just needs to win the fight, and that is exactly what he does. 16-3 in favor of St. Clair. And Corey, we said this would be a close 2-1 series, and let me tell you, it was a close 2-1 series up until the point that we saw Mirage, and at that point, that was all she wrote. St. Clair was far too strong for Miami on that map.
That was a weird 3 maps. Seeing there at the beginning, both of the teams won their selected maps. You can see Overpass. It looked like St. Clair was just going to run away with it on train, and they did. They won 6 rounds in a row, or at least they got themselves into 6 rounds in a row, and then they barely won it 8-7 for the first half. And then after that, Miami they did really, really good on their T side. They had really good executes. They were able to take over the bomb sites. And then you got into the 3rd map. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I mean, the scoreboard definitely does not show the difference. I'm going to, during the break, I'm going to look at the scoreboard for map 2 and look at the scoreboard for map 3. And I bet you they're completely flopped in terms of talking about for one particular team. But there you have it. I mean, St. Clair College, I said they were going to go 2-0. I feel really good confidence in them as a team. But we learned a lot about St. Clair College. So all the teams that are going to be there in the waiting, let's go and take a look at the lower bracket right now, too, because I want to talk about this for the teams that are going to possibly be able to face off and get them here shortly. In the lower bracket, you had Miami University. Of course, you had St. Clair right there just now. And then there you go. Oh, goodness, St. Clair. It really doesn't matter because Ollie and team, they now know, and they chose a map like Nuke. All I was going to say to the team that had to play against St. Clair, one of your best of 3 maps needs to be either Nuke, Train, or Vertigo. And guess what? We've seen UConn on Nuke and Vertigo. And I believe there may have been an instance we may have even seen them on Train, but we'll see that one. That's going to be a matchup that's going to be happening tomorrow. It may happen at 7 p.m. So that's going to wrap things up here. We've got our next matchup that will be happening here at 6 o'clock Central. So that's about 45 minutes from now. We'll be waiting for that one to be coming our way. So stay with us. We'll keep you up to date. But if you want to, go and join our discord.gg/esportsstadium. or head over to go ahead and click the follow button up top. Sorry, we don't have a bunch of emotes. It's just we're a venue that's producing live events. That's what we do. So we're here just to be able to produce some really awesome shows for you guys. But for myself and Jonathan we'll be back with you in about 45 minutes from now. But stay tuned for the next matchup. Kansas State UTD is after all of this.